So, let's check this out. It's been a while since I played Forza Motorsport, actually. I think it's been like a good 2 years. Let's actually create a new profile. Here we go, backspace. Okay, just press this, though. So, curious to see how this goes. I don't remember what cars I used. I think on the... on my first playthrough, I started with the European cars. Because I remember you have to basically decide for a region in the very beginning. And then you're kind of stuck with that for a while. But yeah, cool thing is it's running in 60 FPS. You'll see that in a bit. In fact, you can maybe already slightly tell from the menus even. True 60 FPS, it's really nice. I think 60 FPS was really something this game really desperately needed. The frame rate kind of held this game back in a lot of ways. So I'm glad to actually finally experience this, how it was meant to be played in a way. You can already see it here. Not sure, I think this might speed up some animations. I think that's fine. What do we start with? I think at some point I probably also started with a PT Cruiser. I don't think I ever started with Japanese cars in this. It's also quite funny, like if you really think about it, like we're in the what is this, American cars? This is technically Japanese. This is also technically Japanese. And this is also technically Japanese. In a way, this one is also somewhat Japanese, but I would give this one a pass. So really only like these two here, and like honestly the Focus is arguably more British than American. The PT Cruiser I think is the only true American car you get here. If you want to start with like the North America, like with North America as your region. Which is quite funny. And I don't think I started with Asia before, so let's do that actually. What do we have here? Hyundai would be interesting actually. Altezza, okay, well we could get that one on North America as the i300. Silver is actually a nice starter car. FTO is also really nice. I'm not sure. Something's kind of hitting me about the Honda Civic right now. Mazda 3 is just kind of a little bit boring, I think. Hyundai, I'm not really feeling that right now. I think I would really like to start with a front-wheel drive car at the very least. We could obviously take the GTO. I think it's a bit much for a starter car though. I mean, then again, it's like a modern, well, at the time, I guess, modern Civic Type R. I think I'll go with the Civic, why not? Yeah, I need a custom patch. I don't have it linked anywhere. I could try to find it. It's still somewhere in my Twitter bookmarks. So, if there's like more people in the chat, I'll post it in a bit. So that I don't have to constantly like post it over and over again. If you're watching this on the VOD channel, by the way, it should be in the description, unless I forgot. If I did forget, post a comment, I'll add it later. Right, set difficulty. Let's do this first. We can leave all this on. Damage, I think I'll leave to cosmetic. I'm not really a fan of like mechanical damage too much, especially because I want to make this like more of a casual playthrough. ABS on, we can turn traction control and stability control off though. So that leaves us with like a reduction of like -5%? -5 on the credits, I think that's gonna be okay. Right, this game is also really quiet. I think I'll try to increase the volume in a bit. Yeah, let's just go race, see what we can do. So we can start in the Amateur League, point to points. You can do a lot of the point to points right at the beginning. I would recommend just kind of holding off on those for a while, because those are really fun. Asia Open. Alright, sure, maybe. Tsukuba, my favorite. Lovely. My favorite. I hope I have access to the audio settings in the race. I think I don't know how loud this is. It's pretty quiet, isn't it? Okay. But as you can see, this is true 60. Once again, we're not using any frame generation this time. This is Forza Motorsport like the Microsoft gods intended in a way. And it does feel massively better. Like, I will say I gave for this like a couple test laps before I started the stream, and this does feel substantially better. Like, it's weird how the frame rate can affect the sense of handling and physics. Like, this feels now much closer to Forza Motorsport 2, I would say. Which I honestly think had great handling. It wasn't like the most realistic, but it was very fun. And this now feels like a little bit closer to that. It feels less sluggish, a little bit less delayed. It just feels like miles and miles and miles better. We are understeering through all of these corners. Glad I picked a front-wheel drive car. Do we have audio options here? Yes. This is actually really quiet still. I guess I can increase the volume for you guys on the stream. I think for the VOD I'll just increase it later. Like in post. But there you go. I love how every game spams Tsukuba. Yeah, I think the reason why Tsukuba is so common across racing games is just because the license is really cheap, right? Like the license for Tsukuba I think is just really, really cheap. And so it's really easy to get it into any game. At least that would be my guess. But let's see what else we have here. Yeah. Cameras. The review mirror is still kind of broken in the bumper cam, unfortunately. That is still something that needs to be ironed out from the emulator, but this is a big step up from when I last tried the game. I remember when like on the emulator. Like I remember 2 or 3 years ago I tried to play this on the emulator and it was rough. It was really quite bad. This is so much more pleasant. Like I would say if this doesn't crash, which we're gonna still have to see, but if this doesn't crash, you would have... I will give you my go to play this game for the first time if you haven't already. Try to get a hold of a copy somewhere. Whether it's from a used car market or from a friend online who can give you the ISO file. I would definitely say give this a shot. Set up the Xbox emulator. It's a little iffy. It's not as easy as with other emulators, but I think it is well worth the effort. Because this is quite an incredible game. Like, I think given that this was like their first game, right? The first game in the series, at least. They really delivered here. Like, if you compare this to other simcades of its era, like even the first Gran Turismo or the first like Enthusia, for example, I think they were all a little bit less ambitious and a little bit smaller in scope. Like, this game did a lot of things very, very well. First and foremost, obviously the handling and physics, which, like I said earlier, in 30 FPS feels a little less pleasant, but now that it is in 60, it feels really, really good. It's really fun. But yeah, the campaign was very fun. It's very Gran Turismo-like. If you liked Gran Turismo 3's campaign, you should be right at home here. It's effectively the same. But also stuff like the damage model, which really we haven't really seen properly done or pulled off at this point in a game like this before. This game actually has a really, 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 really good damage model, which I hope we're gonna see at some point. So yeah, I would say this is well worth playing for sure. Yes, the patch is available to the public. If you want, I can post it in the chat in a little bit, if you guys want to give it a try. And also there's plenty of like really, really cool original tracks that never actually reappeared anywhere in the Forza series. Like obviously Maple Valley is a bit of a staple, right? Like this one appeared in every single Forza Motorsport game. But there's so many cool original tracks that they cut immediately after this, like and never returned. And people were always clamoring for Fujimi Kaido to return. I think there's so many tracks from this game that I would have also liked to see just as much. Like there's a track that is in the middle of Tokyo, like just straight up Shibuya. There is like at night as well. It looks fantastic. We're probably gonna see that later. There were a lot of super cool fictional race tracks here that are really fun. One that was kind of reminiscent of Bathurst. And then also a bunch of point-to-point races. Like you have something that almost feels like a street race a little bit at dusk. And yeah, you never got to see any of these tracks ever again. Like they only ever appeared in the very first Forza Motorsport, and I think that alone makes the game worth playing. Honestly, all of these like super cool, awesome tracks, I think are definitely worth checking out. It's this one track from Forza Motorsport 8. I actually don't remember what this even looked like in Motorsport 8, but then again, I don't remember much from Motorsport 8 because it was very, sadly, a very forgettable game. In fact, I would even go as far as to say this one, like even the first Forza, was better than Forza Motorsport 8. I do think I would go that far. But didn't Forza Motorsport 8 get like a bunch of updates before they pulled the plug? I think they did add a lot more campaign events to the single player, which were initially only timed, like basically as for more content. But they at least had the decency to add those to the campaign permanently now. So maybe now there should be a bit to do in Forza Motorsport 8. But yeah, I don't know. The itch is just not there. The problem is like the game is just too expensive still. Like, I think on sale you still need to pay like 30 or 40 bucks. I think it was 40 actually. It's just too much for a game that I know is never going to get any more updates, you know, and it's just kind of subpar in the state that it was left in. Like, if they put it on sale for like 20, I'd be like, yeah, sure. But as this is just really a hard sell. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't just like get a used copy of this game for way cheaper and emulate it and have a much better time, right? Sure, it's more effort, but I think it's well worth the effort. I've played the second FM, this looks cool. Yeah, once again, like the second Forza Motorsport I think is also one of my favorites. I think we'll just kind of put it on par with FM4. I think this is a cool second for me though. I'm gonna be honest. Like if I had to rank the Forza Motorsport games, here you can actually see the Shibuya track, by the way. Super cool. Only exclusive to this entry here, by the way. If I had to rank them, I would maybe put FM4 at the top. I think it's not very not a very controversial take, and here you can see the damage, which I think also peaked in this game. Like this game has the best damage model from the entire series. I would put FM4 at the top, but FM2 as a close second. And I think as a third, I would put this game. I would say this is the third best Forza Motorsport. And then after that, I would maybe put FM3. And then the Xbox One Forzas in descending order, I think. So 7, 6, and then 5. And then FM8 at the bottom. I think that would be kind of my ranking of the series. But I do want to still revisit FM8 at some point, but I refuse to pay 40 bucks for it. That is just not worth it. Once they decide to put the game on a heftier sale, I'll probably get it, because I still don't own it, by the way. Like, the only time I ever played Forza Motorsport 8 was through Game Pass. Oh, whoa. Hello there. It was only ever through Game Pass. So I still don't actually own the game. Yeah, one of the... I tried a bunch of racing games on this emulator. The one that still is a little bit iffy, which is really sad, is Project Gotham Racing 2. Because I often hear that PGR 2 is the best game in the series. From the people that played all of them. They would usually put that one at the top. So I really hope that one becomes playable. We could still try PGR 1 at some point, because I didn't play that either. Could maybe do that next weekend, next Sunday. But the emulator definitely has made a bunch of progress, I would say, over the last handful of months and year or so. I mean, I did make a video on this on my second channel where I just kind of documented the state of OG Xbox emulation. And it did even get slightly better than that. Like, I could maybe even redo that video and document like a lot of the improvements. But yeah. I think once again, the fact that we can play FM1 in 60 FPS is probably like one of the biggest improvements, I would say. And once again, like, it seems stable. Like, the frame rate is very smooth. I think there's maybe like some slight, ever so slight stutters, but they're not really bad or noticeable. Probably not much more than in your average, like, regular racing game, really. So if this is stable and doesn't crash, that would be fantastic. Okay, let's try if I can try to go for like a disgusting overtake maneuver here, because I do want to win this. There we go. Okay, hold on. Cool detail that I don't think I ever noticed about this game's damage model. So my lights have completely shattered, which also means I'm not actually casting any more lights on the road. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I'm not sure if any other Forza has that. This might be the only game that does that. Yeah, there we go. Much better, much smoother. And that should be the first championship done. Yeah, I didn't try Sega GT again. I'm not sure how Sega GT 2002 or Sega GT Online runs these days. Could give it a try. And we received an Integra. Cool. I'm not sure if that's better than the Civic we have, to be honest. But we might be able to use that for some special manufacturer event at some point. Like if we have like an Integra race. Oh yeah, we do. Eclipse versus Integra. Why does it show a Civic in the preview? And a Ford Focus. That's odd. Okay. We could continue in the FF Cup here. I don't think we have enough money for another car just yet. I think I just jump in here. Road Atlanta. Okay, we have to do Tsukuba here. We'll do that last. I'll do the other two tracks first. FM1, the game you grew up with. Yeah, it's quite sad. The original Xbox had a fantastic lineup of racing games, honestly. But I never actually got to experience any of it because I did not grow up with a original Xbox. I did have a 360 for a very brief moment, but I also only played, or at least primarily played, Xbox 360 games with that one. So like I keep saying, the original Xbox catalog is mostly a mystery to me. At the very least in regards to racing games. But yeah, you had so many bangers here. I mean, all of the like conventionally good multi-plat games from this era were also on the Xbox. So stuff like the Need for Speeds, the Burnouts, like all of that you also had on the Xbox. But then on top of that you had, well, the first Forza Motorsport, although, you know, this came out fairly late, unfortunately. You had PGR 1 and 2, you had Sega GT, bunch of cool rally games. Like, yeah, you were spoiled for choice, honestly, when it came to good racing games on the original Xbox. I'm not sure if I would say that the racing game offering was better than on the PlayStation 2, though. Because the PlayStation 2 had Gran Turismo 3 and 4, and that's already really hard to compete with. As much as I like the first Forza Motorsport, I'm not sure if I like it more than GT3 and 4, if I'm being honest. I think it's a good alternative and a change of pace, but as a replacement, I'm not sure. And yeah, the PlayStation 2... What other exclusive did the PlayStation 2 actually have? I don't even remember. I was about to say Midnight Club, but Midnight Club also released on the Xbox. The thing is, on the Xbox you used to have a better experience overall with the games, because the Xbox had much more horsepower, specs-wise. So a lot of the games did look and or run better. I think this is most obvious with Midnight Club 3, actually, which was struggling really hard on the PlayStation 2. Like, that game had frame rate dips out the wazoo, which, as far as I know, the Xbox version did not have. And also the Xbox version looked slightly better, like it had extra effects added that the PlayStation 2 version didn't have. And I think maybe even some higher resolution textures. Does the controller feel more responsive with this patch? That's the only gripe of playing this game. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I said in the very beginning too. The 60 FPS patch makes the handling feel better because there's just way less delay between what's going on, right? Like all the cars feel a little bit more reactive now. It's quite nice. So like if you tried this game before and you weren't really like warming up due to the handling, let me tell you, it was probably because of the frame rate. It feels so much better now. Like the 60 FPS patch really does a lot to just improve the handling of the game, or just the driving feel, I guess, overall. Now that I think about it, I keep trying to think of exclusive PlayStation 2 racing games. I really don't think there were any. I guess you had MotorStorm, yeah. You had MotorStorm Arctic Edge. on the PlayStation 2. I think that one also came out pretty late. I think like actually extremely late now I think about it, because it must have come out after the first MotorStorm, which I think was a launch title I believe for the PlayStation 3. So hard to count that if it came out so late. So maybe the original Xbox definitely might have been the better console for racing games after all. Even if you take Gran Turismo out of the equation. It's just hard to beat the amount of choice you had. And I mean with this I guess you had some kind of like alternative to Gran Turismo at the very least if you really wanted that kind of game. And to be honest, it's not a bad alternative at all. Like it's a great game. It just doesn't reach like the peak, you know, the peaks of GT. Hey, yeah, Midtown Madness 3 as well here. Like this console was a powerhouse, honestly, for racing games. It was an absolute racing game powerhouse. That was a great track here, actually. What was it called again? Blue Mountain? Reminds me a lot of Grand Valley. I think you can kind of tell that a lot of the original tracks they added were supposed to kind of resemble either tracks from another game, namely Gran Turismo, obviously, or a real-life track that they couldn't really get the licenses for. I mean, layout-wise, this is basically Spa, right? I think we can say that definitively. Layout-wise, it's pretty much Spa, and I think honestly, like visually speaking too. Now that I think about it, it's like a very loose recreation of Spa in a way. It's weird to see FM1 so smooth. It is, right? There we go. I also forgot that you earn less money if your car is damaged, so I should try to keep the races clean if I can. Focus circuit in this game gives you PTSD. It's a tricky track. It's not easy. It's a very dense city track. Definitely harder than anything you would get in Gran Turismo. Like the closest comparison is probably either New York from GT4 or Seattle circuit. But even then. And I think we had our first freeze. Okay. That is unfortunate. That is quite unfortunate. I was hoping this would be like 100% stable. But let's crash number 1. Let's hope it stays that way. Game said adios. At least it happened in the beginning of the race, so we don't have to do more Tsukuba than necessary. This was my profile here. Okay, I think we were here. Thank God for autosave. You remember hearing things about such patches not being the most stable? Yeah, it could be the case. It could be that the patch is actually causing some instabilities here. But we'll see. I'll give this like a thorough test run. That's also kind of like the main reason why I just wanted to play the game casually today and not really starting like any crazy challenge run like we usually do. Because I want to see if this is even playable on the emulator first. I still don't fully trust the Xemu emulator, even though it has made good improvements. But it is definitely still far behind other emulators that I usually use. So I wanted to give this like a casual Sunday stream. See how it goes. And we got our first crash about a half an hour in. That's not great, but if that remains the only one, or if the next one is like several hours away, then I think I could be okay with that. Oh god. Let's try not to reach chat. Right in front of the corner. I'll share the 60 FPS patch in a bit. Because I know some of you guys probably want to try this out yourself. Once again, I didn't have any luck getting it to work. I'm not sure what the problem was. I tried several versions of the game. I don't know what I did wrong. So if it's not working for you, no, you're not an idiot. I'm an idiot too. You're not alone. But it does work. As you can see. It's the most stable than a modern Need for Speed Undercover. Man, it's been so long since I played Undercover, like the next gen version at the very least. I remember we did play the reformed mod like half a century ago at this point. Half a decade ago, not century, Jesus Christ. I haven't been streaming for 50 years. Half a decade ago. But money for speed is something I'd also like to do at some point. There's still a bunch of cool ideas I had for Need for Speed streams. Maybe we'll get to some of those eventually. This is a 21-year-old game. It can legally drink now, yeah. This game can legally drink in the States. Play Shift 2 Unleashed. Dude, I actually really like Shift 2 Unleashed. It's like my... like, you know, everyone has that kind of game that they know kind of sucks, but you still like regardless. For like some like very specific reason. For me, that is Shift 2 Unleashed. I can fully acknowledge that game sucks. Like, the physics are trash. Handling and physics are super trash. But, dude, I like it, man. Okay. Yeah, we actually lose a little bit of money because of difficulty. Like, you can't really call it difficulty bonus if you subtract money, dude. The cost I need to pay for no damage. But I think, honestly, like, that is probably a good idea. I'm not sure if it still, like, calculates the damage and subtracts it from the earnings, from the winnings, if I have only cosmetic damage enabled, but... There you go. And then Pretsum. Very specific one, 2.5 RS Coupe. It's not even a WRX. Very interesting. Okay, let me let me try to find the 60 FPS patch so that I can post it in the chat. I could actually do a pinned comment of that, actually, just a pinned chat message. Let's see. Should be somewhere in my bookmarks. Things I don't know where to find them. Siri? Oh, yeah, there. This is it? No, this is something else. Oh, there, I found it. Let me post it in chat and pin it. There. Anyone wants to try it? Good luck with getting it to run, because I just couldn't. I try my best, but maybe you'll have more luck. Okay. I found this a while ago. This is actually like a little bit older already. Has been out for a while. But now I decided to just finally give it a try. So we could do a point-to-point race, just to break things up, I guess. Oh yeah, Pacific Shipyards. I love this track. Like I said, like this track just feels like a straight street race, honestly. I guess. Also a track that never appeared anywhere else. Maybe precisely because it feels too much like a street race, but it's phenomenal. Right, because there's no actual barriers anywhere. You're just kind of in the middle of like a, I don't know, some kind of like commercial, industrial area. And the game crashed again. That's a shame. That's a shame. That was a quick one as well. Let's try it again. I'm not sure what the other, actually, was Fujimi Kaido already in this? I don't even remember. Maybe we can take a look at some of the other point-to-point races already, even if we don't have the car. Ah, not really. Because I'm not entirely sure what point-to-point races you even had in this game. I do think, I'm pretty sure that Fujimi Kaido was already in this. I don't think that one got introduced. Actually, I think it wasn't in FM2. I think it was missing in FM2. I'm not sure if it was in FM3. We definitely know it was in 4. But I'm quite certain that it originated from here. Really makes you like realize how many iconic things from the Forza series actually just came straight from the first game. Man, look at that. This is once again, like, this is basically just a straight up street race. Like, we must be trespassing here. Like, we are 100% trespassing. But I mean, look at that. The roads are actually like barricaded, as you can see, in certain places. So maybe in a way that is a turn? Interesting. I paid attention to that. So I guess in a way that is a sanctioned race here, sanctioned event. Okay, Fujimi came back in 3, so was only absent in 2. Okay, I see. Yeah, I think FM2 didn't have any sprint races, any point-to-point races, really. It was a bit of a bummer. Feels kind of like Juice. Yeah, I get that. I do get that. It is very reminiscent, yeah. But it's basically just street races, but they are sorta sanctioned, sorta closed off. Man, Juice is a great game. Like, Juice I really could play again as well. I haven't played those in a really long time. But I really love this track. I would honestly go as far to say I think I prefer this over Fujimi. I know that, I'm not sure if this is kind of... yeah, I'm pretty sure this is heresy, honestly. But I think I like this more than Fujimi Kaido. As much as I like it, I think this is better. There's just way more variety here on the track. You go through so many different areas over a bridge and what have you. It's so cool, man. Probably one of the most underrated tracks in Forza history, but it's definitely because this game wasn't really played by that many people since it was just an original Xbox title, right? And for some reason I can't continue here. It's not letting me press A. Maybe I have to wait for the others? Or did my controller disconnect? Tends to happen sometimes, where it disconnects and it doesn't really... Yeah, okay, there we go. Doesn't really tell me. need to play Forza 1 to 4 one of these days, definitely do it. I think they are so worth playing. And if you only played Forza Motorsport games after 4, I would say really missed out. Like, this is this is where the heat is at, you know? This is where I think the series was really, really driving circles around Gran Turismo at the time. Like, as much as I like Gran Turismo 5 and 6, I have to admit, at this time, Forza was ahead. 100%. Like, imagine, like, between Gran Turismo 4 and 5, they managed to put out Forza Motorsport 1, 2, and 3, like 3 Forza games. And then they came up with 5, and it was... GT5 was okay, you know. It had some issues. I like it, but hard to acknowledge that as an improvement over Gran Turismo 4. And then Turn 10 just immediately claps back with FM4, which is like one of the best games of its kind, you know. One of the best simcades of its kind. And then, yeah. Polyphony then came out way too late with GT6, which I feel like compared to compared to Gran Turismo 5, I think it was kind of like a one step forward, one step backwards kind of deal. Some things were better, other things were kind of worse. So yeah, I think it was really that era where they really, I think we're noticeably ahead. Like at this point in time, you really wanted to be on Xbox, I think, if you were into like these kinds of racing games. Not that the PS3 was dog shit to develop on. Yeah, definitely. That definitely contributed a lot to why Gran Turismo 5 and 6 came out so late, at the very least. Because, like, I mean, if Gran Turismo 5 was a launch title for the PlayStation 3, or at least, like, released within the same year, I would be like, okay. Right, like for a 2006, 2007 game, it's actually kind of a banger, even with the shortcomings. But for 2010, when you had Forza Motorsport 1, 2, and 3 already, it's kind of like, okay, well, you know. Have I played Rally Sport Challenge 2? Not yet. But I do know that it runs pretty well here, so we could give that a try as well. So it was one of the most recommended, oh god, one of the most recommended rally games actually for the OG Xbox. But you can actually see the lights are individual. I only have like one working light on the car, and you can even see that on the ground there. Yo, what is that? Toyota Border MR2 Turbo T-Bar. Looks sick. And a pointing GTO on top. Maybe for hitting a certain level. Cool. Let me show you something else that's cool about this game. And I think I would even go as far to say this game probably still does the best. Better than any other Forza, but I'm not entirely sure. Which is customization. So you could actually customize these cars extremely well. So you have like different wheel choices. Actually, I think the wheel selection is pretty good even. That's a lot of rims actually. But what's really cool is all of the body mods. Like, look at all this stuff here. This is just for the for this specific Civic, right? And like, ignoring the Forza Aero, which also looks much better here than in the newer Forza games. Just for this Civic, you have 4 options, 4 bumpers. Like, that feels impossible. Like, it feels like like modern games cannot keep up with this anymore. Like the modern Forzas. Why did I post something in the chat there? I did not write that. Anyway. Rear lens. Customize your parents with installing aftermarket rear lenses. Like rear... like tail lights. Cool. Yeah, I would say the first Forza still mocks every other Forza that came after this. in regards to customization. I think they added the most amount of customization here, which is also like one thing where like this is was far above what Gran Turismo had at the time. So we could customize this. I think I'd rather save the money for now though, because we need to switch to a different car. In fact, I think we had an Integra championship, right? So we can maybe switch to the Integra and then maybe customize that one a little bit. Or we just switch straight to the MR2. And I think I want to see what you can do with the Integra here in terms of customization. Yeah, and this game was actually built from the ground up. No japes. Look at all these options. Holy shit, dude. This is like crazy. This is unthinkable. Like these days in Horizon 6, you're lucky if you get more than 2 options. Look at all this stuff, man. It looks very different too. Like it's absolutely crazy how much they actually managed to add. Okay, let's try to make this car look really, really cool and different. Oh, this one I remember from somewhere, but I can't point my finger. Is this maybe what they had on the cover car of Midnight Club 1? Do I remember this correctly? I'm not entirely sure. This looks wild, by the way. This looks absolutely insane. Looks like a different car altogether here. The Arc 7-ish bumper is awesome. Like this is super sick. But let me check this actually. Midnight Club 1 cover. Nah. I misremember that. I think that wasn't Integra though, was it? What car was this on the cover here? It's so hard to identify because it's so modded. MX-6? Okay, I've got to be honest, I've never seen like a stock MX-6. I didn't even know that was a thing. Mazda MX-6. Huh. How come that thing has never been in any racing game? Never seen this car anywhere. Anyway, what am I gonna do with this one here? There's so much cool stuff here. It's like, imagine that, dude. So much customization in a Forza game that it's hard to decide. I do think this looks kind of insane. It's very like early 2000s. I like what they did with the lights here. If we want to make this car look completely different, I think we'd have to go with this one. Like that makes the car look almost unrecognizable. Honestly. I think I want to make the most like insane looking Integra that I can. Yeah, honestly, for an OG Xbox title, the car models here are really impressive. Like they look good. I mean, there's a reason why they still recycle these car models even to this day, right? Because for the most part, they're still fine. There's some like cars that are very infamous, right? Obviously. But a lot of the cars, they just gave like an interior, maybe overhauled a little bit. Increased the poly count in some spaces, and that was it, you know? Because a lot of the cameras do hold up actually pretty well. What are we doing here? Not sure. This one's really thick. So kind of would like to go for that, maybe. I don't even go as far as say like the stock Forza option. It's actually not that bad here. Let's go with this here. This is for the side skirts. Wait, did they forget to remove the badge? You see that here? I think they forgot to remove the badge there. It looks a little wrong. That does look a little wrong. They recycle these cars, makes you wonder why they couldn't use all the body kits. Yeah, it might be licensing, but who knows? I think these days, the problem is I don't think they care enough about customization. I think that is actually the real problem. Holy crap. Holy. Carbon fiber looks a little bit weird. Looks more like a carpet. Right? Looks more like a black carpet. Okay, do we have any like crazy wings? And look at that! Not one, but 3 different Forza aero options. 3! And they all look good! Isn't that crazy? Imagine that! You're not forced to use the shitty swan neck that looks like trash on like 99% of the cars in the game. But 3 super basic, fine-looking wings that you can use. Isn't that insane? Isn't that crazy? Every time I go back to like one of these older Forza games, I can't help but think like, what are they doing today, man? Like, what are they actually doing these days? What is making it so hard? When they got so much right their first time around here. I actually quite like this one. It's a pretty unique looking wing, kind of round. I think I go for this. This one's a bit overkill. And like, I want to point this out again. This was the first Forza game. They had to make all of this from scratch. Here's something completely new. You can change the taillights. This only appears here. This is like only Forza 1 has this. Imagine. Customization options that aren't just bumper, spoiler, and hood. You can change the taillights on this. It's the only Forza game that does this. I feel like I'm going insane every time I play this. I'm like, dude, what are they doing these days, man? Okay, we want to make sure that it stays in D1 class because that could make the car unviable for other events. So I think I'll just leave it to a basic weight reduction and just kind of leave it there. But yeah. Technical headlights too. Or some cars even let you change the headlights. Okay, I didn't even know that. Like, look how crazy this Integra looks. Like, this was a stock Integra we had in the beginning. Looks completely unrecognizable. And even forgot the rims. It looks completely unrecognizable to what it was like before. Nowadays, you're kind of stuck with like pre-made body kits. Is really the most you can do with a car. Which admittedly, like, I gotta be honest, like the body kits they add these days to Forza are really cool. I like them a lot usually. But man, it just doesn't beat like having like the ability to change individual bumpers and having like a super cool selection for each of these. Okay, these are kind of sick. They look a little bit like Porsche rims. I almost want to go for those. It's also not bad. We can always paint these later, I think. It's not just customization, it's personalization. It's a really good, very good observation there. I think I might go with these. I think if we make them larger, they could look really, quite nice. Not sure we could do that. Tires? Not sure we could change the dimensions of the rims. If you could do that at all, even. Was that something you could do? The tire dimensions? Because I can't seem to find it. You can lower the car here if you want. Or does it sound some kind of like really cheap motorcycle outside? I mean, we can leave the room size like this, it's okay. Tire dimensions were added to Forza too. Maybe yeah, there's a good chance that the first Forza might not have tire dimension customization. That's a bit unfortunate. But that's okay. I think it's a fair trade-off, given like how much other stuff you have here. Okay, these are all the color options. Okay, so you only get like a handful of preset colors. It's also a bit unfortunate. That's like where the customization is kind of like, you know... Well, I feel like, you know, they could have done a little bit more. But then again, like, Gran Turismo didn't have the ability to change colors at all. Like, you have to just kind of measure everything against the first... Wait, what are we doing here? These are special colors, look at that. You can have, like, iridescent colors. Looks actually really nice. This one actually makes the hood carbon... it makes the hood and spoiler carbon by default. And the wing mirrors. It's actually kind of cool. So you don't even need to apply bespoke specific carbon parts. You can just select this color, which keeps the stock color of the car, I think, but makes these parts carbon, regardless of what parts they are. That is actually super cool. How come no other game has done that? this is so clever. I think I'd like to go for this orange here. I think this looks quite nice on the car. I think you can still make these carbon individually if you want, yeah. Kinda like this. So I have like a carbon texture essentially you can throw on like a bunch of these cars. But I do think once again like the carbon looks not like carbon here, it looks more like carpet. That's okay. Save now, yes. You can also apply decals here. I wanted to do this next. You get a full-on decal... no, that's the wrong button. Full-on decal customization. Not a whole lot of options for what to do here. But it's there. It's something, right? It's like a tribal. Let's make this like super 2000s. Yeah, it works. Works perfectly fine. You always have to consider, like, this was like their first attempt, right? Like their first attempt at making a racing game like this. And like, honestly, considering that, they really knocked it out of the park, I think. Okay, it should only be on one side, right? Layer options. Pace all from right side. Okay, so if we switch to the right side, pace all from left side, and there you go. Now we have it on both sides. Beautiful. Cool. Check it out, I'm on the hood like carpet. Nice reference. 100 layers even, yeah. 100 whole layers. I'm not sure how much that is to make like anything like super crazy. Because I never really bothered with like livery customization on Forza, but... Yeah, I mean, you always have to consider. First game, this was... First Xbox, OG Xbox. I think given that, this is pretty impressive. Okay, I think the livery from the one side does not apply correctly though. It's slightly off. You notice that? Ever so slightly off. Yeah, you have Daytona at home. This is a good track though, like for an oval, I think it's super cool. Oh, Sunset Peninsula. I think this one they also added back in Forza Motorsport 8, didn't they? So they brought back Fujimi Kaido and then also this. Within a layout. Yeah, that's actually cool. You know, I don't hate Forza Motorsport just to hate on it or on principle. Like, I'm willing to give credit where credit is due. And I think Forza Motorsport 8 didn't even have like any proper I don't think it really had any proper oval tracks, did it? So bringing this back from like older Forza is actually not a bad idea. It wasn't a bad move, genuinely. Okay, I'm not sure if I can catch up to the car up in front. Need a bit more top speed for that. Also, I could try to see if I can maybe change to kilometers per hour. But yeah. Need for Speed only had 20 layers in carbon undercover. Okay, yeah, it's definitely much less. Honestly, like, the more I think about it, the more of a toss-up it actually is whether this game is objectively better than Gran Turismo 4. I guess it just really comes down to what type of game you're looking for, right? And what you personally like to play and what you're looking for in a racing game. I think I personally still prefer Gran Turismo 4 because it just has way more to do. Like, the campaign is just so much bigger. Has so many more, like, cars in it. Just way more to play around with. You have the special condition events, you know. And I think generally I also... Actually, I'm not sure if I like the driving more or less. Hard to say. But to me, like, in a racing game, I'm looking for soul, you know? Like, it's like, kind of like the main thing I'm looking for. Like, soul and a lot to do. If you can give me those two things, I'm already plenty happy. And not to call this game soulless at all. But I think Gran Turismo 4 just had more of it, you know, with the jazz music, with the menu design, with the soundtrack in general. I don't know, I feel more playing Gran Turismo 4. It's hard to describe, but I just feel more playing Gran Turismo 4. And since it has way more to do and it's just so much bigger in scope, at least if we're talking campaign mode, I think I'd still pick GT4 over this. However, it's hard to say that it's definitively better, because this one has so many things over GT4. And even Gran Turismo 5, if we're being honest. Like, this one, I would say it probably has better physics. Like, understeer and oversteer feels a little bit more natural here than in Gran Turismo 4, I would say. I wouldn't say better customization, but you have customization, period. Gran Turismo 4 doesn't have that at all. Like, customization here peaked in the series, like in Forza Motorsport, it peaked here. The damage model is great, genuinely really good here, which, you know, GT4 also doesn't have. So yeah, you know, if that stuff is important to you, if you like that stuff, I think you're gonna be more of a fan of this game. Also, there's no way I'm catching up to the guy first. I think he's driving a modern Integra, right? Like RSX, I guess. It also looks pimped. It might be a Mugen, actually. Tells me we need to... yeah, it's a Mugen Integra. Yeah, no wonder we're losing. Okay, let's choose up our own Integra then. Yeah, that right there was basically budget Bathurst, if you will. Upgrades. I think we just need speed, man. Engine tuning. It also has a slightly different ever so slightly different customization, like performance customization. Ah, look at that! That's how you increase the rim size. You need to buy better tires. Look at that. That actually makes the rims bigger. It's tied to that. Now we just need more speed. What do we go for here? We get either supercharger or turbocharger here. Okay, intercooler don't have an effect. Interesting. Wait, that's so funny. It tells you that intercooler upgrades don't have any effect unless I have a turbocharger or supercharger installed. I can still install it though. It's still letting me add one. That's kind of funny. Just like most other games, they would just either let you add it anyways and give you more power, Or just not let you add it until you buy a turbocharger. But here you can buy it even if it doesn't do anything. It's really funny. But it's very simplistic. Most of the performance just comes from the engine tuning thing here. I'll just give it that. Put it to C1 class. The classes here are also very different. Like they go from D to A, I think, and then within each letter there's like 1 to 4. So D4 is the slowest, I think. Wait, no, sorry. D1, I think, is the slowest. Do I know what I'm talking about here? No, not really. We can look at the car list anyways. We can take a quick look at the car list here. 231 cars. Honestly, once again, for the first game in the series, is really not bad. I think D4 is the slowest car class and A1 is the fastest. If memory serves me right. Might be the other way around. Now they are ascending here. I think they are sorted by performance, so I think that is correct. I do like that they simplified the performance groups in the later games, I will say. It's a little bit too many. Like, you have like A to D, which, you know, you still have in the modern Forzas. But then within those you have numbers. But yeah, there's a lot of cool cars here actually. This is a Corrado SLC, which I don't think is the same one, the same Corrado you have in Motorsport 1. Not Motorsport 1, sorry, in Horizon 1. Slightly different. Wasn't really paying attention to the other cars here. New Beetle Turbo S. Yeah, the Turbo S is not the one that was in other games either. Like, usually just have the regular Beetle in, like, it's like Juiced or Gran Turismo 3. The Turbo S is an interesting choice. Protege Mazda Speed. Okay, you have the MRS and the MR2 Spider. Interesting. So both the international and the Japanese version. I gotta say, thank God for giving us a regular NB Miata. Like, I think it bothers me quite a bit that the only NB Miata you have in modern Forza is the fucking Mazda Speed one. Why not give us a normal one like this one? I mean, this one's also like a slightly different model. It's like a sport model, so slight facelift, like the bumpers are slightly different. It's not a completely stock model like you would get in Gran Turismo, but it's at least something. Del Sol? Okay. And also just a standard, like, Impreza, one that's not a WRX. You also don't really see that very often. Toyota Camry Solara. I don't think this one ever returned anywhere in Forza. I think this might be an FM1 exclusive, if I'm being honest. And to be fair, I don't think I've ever seen this car anywhere other than here. Very, very interesting car. Alright, what else do we have? Yeah, also this Acura I'm not really familiar with. God-forsakenly ugly. Thank God. You have Zaab here. Earlier Forza still had Zaab. I think FM2 also had it. I'm not sure if Zaab also carried over to 3 and 4. But this is a brand they completely dropped entirely after a while. And like, Zaab is not like a super exciting brand, but I think that's exactly what makes it so interesting. So it's quite a shame. Only TT. Yeah, the Golf model already looked quite bad here, unfortunately. Like, this is one of the, at least for me, since my dad used to, like, my family used to drive a Mark IV Golf. Not the R32, but Mark IV Golf in general. So I'm very, very familiar with how it looks, and this is unfortunately one of the more butchered car models, even in this game. Like, the rear is completely wrong. And they still haven't fixed it. Like, the Golf still looks this bad, even to this day, which is criminal, honestly. It's an Integra Type RJ. I see. They have the ones with both different headlights. Got it. This one actually looks much better, if I'm being honest. Silvia. Yeah, something about the Silvia also looks kind of off, I gotta say. There's something about the front. S14. Accord Coupe X. Also not familiar with this one. I've never seen this one before. I'm always familiar with Accords, but not this one in particular. RX-8. Yeah, this car model also looks a little bit weird. Like the front Looks like the car has an underbite. It's a little unfortunate. The car models aren't amazing, like as far as accuracy goes. I think if you're looking for accurate car models, I think Gran Turismo was definitely doing much better. Like the car models were maybe like a little bit lower fidelity, a little bit simpler in Gran Turismo 4, but they definitely looked more accurate there. That I think I will definitely say for sure. In terms of accuracy, these are not there, even though they might look a little bit better for as far as like textures go, and the fact that they have damaged models as well. But yeah. Regular Audi S4. I think this one's still being used as a traffic car, maybe, in the Horizon games. Yeah, I figured we're gonna play some more OG Xbox games. Hence why I decided to return to this. Okay, so we have the some kind of tuned version of this. Won that from a tournament. SRT4. Nissan Altima. I miss all of these like super basic commuter vehicles, man. Would love to see more of those in Horizon as well. Tigra. And this one I'm pretty sure they still use even today. This specific car model. They probably cleaned it up a little bit in some places, but yeah. That one definitely has survived all the way until present day. In some way, shape or form. GTR. Yeah, that's the one we won. TLK 55. Tom's MRS. I think I've seen this before in another game. Might have even been another Forza. What is 4? I could swear we saw that one earlier. It was probably different gen. Oh god, yeah. Here it is. The infamous S15 Silvia. And you can see it has all the same issues it had up until Horizon 6, where they finally decided to update the car model. So this is exactly how the car looked in Horizon 5 as well. With that weird underbite, the roof that's way too tall. All of these issues, it came from this car here. So this one just got recycled over and over and over. For like, I think almost 2 decades. Volvo S60R. I'm not sure, yeah, I think modern Forza games still carried Volvo over at least. Not this one though, I'm pretty sure. Now Tom's MR2. Looks quite cool. It has that weird looking intake in the rear. Two different versions. Once again, probably the international version and then the Japanese one. 944 Turbo. I'm not sure if this one's still in the modern Forza games. I mean, they have a ton of Porsches, but I'm not sure if they have this one. Fair Lady. I think this car model is actually still being used in modern Forza. It's not the best, but it's passable. I would say it's okay, but could definitely use a refresh at this point, I think. Mugen Civic. Yeah, that's not a good looking RX-7. That RX-7 looks very off, I would say. Probably one of the worst car models we've seen so far. Terraflopping, thank you for the Prime. Appreciate it, man. First sub ever. Thank you, thank you. Miata Hybrid. Oh, interesting. Hold on. So I have a Nissan Fair Lady here. So basically Japanese variant. And then you have the 350Z Trek. What's Trek about this one? It's just a standard one, isn't it? Weird. There's something wrong with the fitment on the lease models here, I think. Yeah, the tires don't look right. Why are they so skinny? Buick. Mugen S1000 comes with delivery. Fully carbon roof. C32 AMG. Definitely also not returned in any of the future Forzas, I think. Maybe some of them at least, but definitely didn't make it into present day. Skyline, that looks okay. Not great, but Tomorrow. Porsche Boxster S. Okay, very interesting version of this one too, from 2003. Cool. I gotta be honest, I do like the early 2000s Porsches. I know a lot of them don't really like them because of the way the headlights look. Like the, what do people call these? Something with fried eggs. Look kind of like fried eggs. I like them actually. Okay, it's a car that was clapping us all the time before, and it's B4. We have our Integra is C1 now, so we should be able to beat it if we drive better. Opel Speedster Turbo. Absolute menace in GT4. Supra. That doesn't look too bad. Car model, it looks okay. Why are they not adding this, by the way? Like, by the time I'm streaming this, they just added another Camaro to Horizon 6. And it's basically identical to the one we already had all before. I'm not sure what generation it is, but basically identical to the one we had. Why are they not adding this? I know that this one doesn't have a lot of fans, but like at least it's something new, right? Because no one likes the Catfish Camaro. I think they should still add it though. It's better than just giving us a car that we already have. This right here is basically the cover car. It's, well, the cover car is kind of like a tuned version, I guess, of this one. It doesn't look that great, I gotta be honest. Looks alright. There's something a little bit off about this one. You have the NSX version. NSX-R actually. Old NSX. Tommy Kyra and Pretza. Oh god, the double stack. The double stack spoiler. Yeah, NSX look a little bit weird. Something about them, I don't know. Mina Skyline GTR. Okay, here we're getting to, I think now the really fast cars. A lot of Mina's tuner cars. It's quite cool actually. Tommy Kyra Skyline GTR R34. Cool. Yeah, they used to do way more with this, with all of these like special tuner variants. Oh, there's actually an S-Class as well. Thought they were topping out at A, but there's also an S-Class here. So from D to S, with 4 numbers in between. Okay. Vale Side Supra. I gotta be honest, I'm not really super fond of this one. The Abflug though, that one's cool. Painted red and it's basically the car from Midnight Club. Midnight Club 2 that is. Vale Side Supra Fortune 99. Okay, crazy. Okay, and here we're getting to the race cars. Anything in here that you couldn't get in Gran Turismo? Let's see. I think these were all in GT. At least to some degree. I think this one maybe wasn't. This one in particular, like with this livery. That was... oh god. Cupra GT prototype. Isn't that it might be the only Seat in the game. We didn't see any other. We're also in GT S-Class now. Wait, do we have S-Class, GT, and then GTS? Okay. Starting to understand the car classes in this game. What a weird car. What a weird little car. With a weird livery as well. Hey, Zero. Hit Y on the Supras, look at the power. These here? 1000 horsepower. Subtle 1000 horsepower. Sheesh. Ooh, interesting. Yellowhead YMS Supra. Looks very different than the JGTCs that I know. Carsonic. Classic. Ultra Plus Super. I think you also have this one in GT, but something about them looks different. Those are not the JGTC ones, right? The official ones? Look a little different. And these cars are still locked, so these we're gonna have to, I presume, get as prize cards, but we can obviously see what they are. There's some 240 SX. Trento, Elan. Yeah, does it tell you where to get these? Oh yeah, win the Amateur North American Open event. Okay. We have a Gold Wing here. Honda Aero Gear Integra Type R. Okay. Very interesting. Porsche 550A Spider. We didn't see any Ferraris yet. The only way to get a Ferrari in this game is to win one. You can't just buy these. Interesting. Renault. Wait, I'm not sure if we saw any Renault. Same with Renault, actually. This car I actually used as a cover car for the thumbnail on the video I made on this game. Mustang. Yeah, only way to get a Mustang is a price car here as well. Super, super interesting. Mustang GT 500 KR. Interesting. Never seen that before. Dodge Stealth. There's even Bentley here. Kinda crazy how many brands they just kinda lock away behind price cars. That kinda looks like a rally car almost. DB9, Shelby. Yeah, all the Ferraris are locked behind championships. Pretty cool ones too. I have a regular Panos Esperante here. Also don't see that too often. What is that? Ferrari 612 Staglietti. You kind of make it out through the X-ray here. You make it out a little bit. EVR is in here too. I have GT2. That one should be cool. That one's a fun unlock. ACR Viper. Viper Competition Coupe. Looks like the GTR concept, honestly. Or GTSR concept, I should say. Current GT. Some kind of tuned Corvette. Another one, I guess. I have a Dodge Hennessy Viper. That one I actually don't even know. I haven't seen that one before. Are we already at Koenigsegg in the first game? Interesting. And that mean 412. That's actually super sick. A handful of race cars, Volvo race car. More Porsches. That one has a super American livery. I don't think I ever browsed through the whole car list in this game. Ah, there we go. The one and only M3 GTR. Yeah, you have two of them though. Number 42 and number 43. I'm not sure where the difference is between these. Other than some minor differences with the livery, but honestly, I think one of the two was probably would have been enough. Did the same thing here. Official DTM car. IMSA Celine. Lots of official IMSA cars, actually. Fair enough one. And they have some LMP cars. I think we're still semi-relevant at the time. Like semi used. Oh, these I don't know actually. Must be some old LMP cars. I mean, this one I definitely know, I think. Alright. Cool, that's the whole car list. It's a really cool car list. I do like that a lot of the cars are exclusive rewards from the championships. Oh, that means you can only get one of them, obviously. Alright, let's try the Integra race again. Right here. Yeah, no Lamborghinis. Lamborghini was still absent in the first Forza. I think, honestly... Well, were there Lamborghinis in Motorsport 2? I don't remember. I can't actually remember. They were? Okay. Guess I didn't play the game far enough to get to them. Actually, I think actually, that's not true. I think I drove some kind of like Murcielago race car at some point. Okay, we're still lagging behind the Mugen Integra a bit. I guess it's a bit overkill here. Like, if you have like an Integra race showing up in the Mugen, is kind of like most overkill thing you can come up with here, but I guess that's your incentive to get involved with the upgrade system. Now there is game audio, it's just really, really quiet. I can't make it any louder. It's already maxed out. I mean, I guess I could. Can I filters? Ah, I can make this. Okay, this is 10 decibels. Let me know if this is good or if this is too much. Much better? Okay. It's only louder for you. The problem is this also makes everything else louder. That's what I'm kind of worried about. So, if you decide to subscribe, that shit is probably gonna blow your ears off. I'm just giving you a fair warning. So maybe turn down the volume of the stream a little bit. Because the only way I can improve the audio is by making everything louder. So if I get any alert, yeah. Like I said. Hey, Tabo, thank you for the 38 months though, much appreciated. Wasn't too bad, it's as loud as me, okay. So it wasn't that bad. Could be worse, alright. That's good. Could honestly make the game a little bit louder on my end. But I hear more of the game. Shouldn't make any difference for you. Baiting subs, yeah. Definitely baited a sub there. I secretly knew the volume wasn't too bad, but I wanted to... wanted to say it was gonna be. To bait out a sub. My PC specs are listed below the stream, so just scroll down a little bit. Should still be up to date, I think at least. Make it louder. I'm not making it louder. The Sunday stream is supposed to be a chill stream. How are we feeling about this track, by the way? It's obviously supposed to be kind of reminiscent of Bathurst. So kind of like a loose inspired track. Loosely inspired by Bathurst. I do think it's pretty fun, actually. In a way, I think it might even be better than original Bathurst, if I'm being honest. I think some of the corners are a little bit more interesting. It flows a little bit better. And it's not too cluttered with straights. But there's still some point in like running a high downforce build here if you want. Looks more interesting than Bathurst, yeah. I mean, it's obviously like easier to make a more interesting fictional track because you don't have any like limitations. Like you can just build something entirely from your imagination. And if you have a good imagination, a wild imagination, you can build something that's way cooler than anything that people in real life could build, right? But yeah. Let me see if we can change to kilometers per hour. I wanted to check this anyways. If we can change the units. Sorry, Americans, you had your fun for the last 90 minutes. Ah, yeah, there we go. Units, metric. You can also change other stuff here. Like the speeder, we can change to digital if we want, but I think what I want to do is course map fixed. Should make it a little bit closer to Gran Turismo, which this game is already very close to anyways. Metric or English? I think English is supposed to be Imperial. It's kind of weird, like you have default, metric and English, but there's only like the only units that exist as far as I know when it comes to like measuring speed and distance are metric or Imperial units. So default is just English. Imperial is American commonly. Yeah, but they also use miles in the UK, right? I'm not sure where the difference is between the units and measurements that Americans and British people use. Like in my mind, they use mostly the same. They're different miles. What do you mean they're different miles? Are you telling me there's two kinds of miles? New York, by the way. Yeah, this is Forza Motorsport 1's iteration of New York. So New York has also appeared in Forza Motorsport 2 and 3. I think this is the best iteration though. Motorsport 1 had the best New York track easily. And I think this also definitely mocks Gran Turismo 4's iteration of New York. It is so much cooler. Like you visit so many more cool places here. And it looks gorgeous. Like the time of day, the lighting is incredible, honestly. Still using real street layouts as far as I can tell. But you just get to see way more of them. Like, it takes you around way more than any of the other New York tracks. Super sick. Buttery smooth gameplay. Yeah, this is the best New York circuit across all New York circuits from any racing game. I mean, I haven't played the PGR. If New York appears in PGR, I don't know how that is. But yeah. Oh, actually, I wanted to mention this. So I definitely do want to try out Toys R Us. What the fuck is that ad? Okay, sorry, I'm getting flashbanged by all these, like, super weird ads here on Times Square. I do want to try out PGR 1 for Sunday stream as well, eventually, maybe even next time. However, before Project Gotham Racing, they made Metropolis Street Racer for the Dreamcast. Which I think I played on stream, like, 6 years ago, maybe. 5 or 6 years ago. I didn't play it for very long. So I probably played that first to see what that was like. I think it's nice to just kind of have the context. Look at that, man. This New York track is almost 3 minutes, dude. What a cool track. This is easily the best version of any New York track I've seen from Forza and Gran Turismo. So damn cool. Imagine if they also include the layout from GT4. Yeah, that's the thing, you only have one layout here, I think. This is probably the, as far as I know, the only layout you get. They don't have any other variations, but that's okay. I mean, in general, like, this game doesn't really do a lot with varying layouts. Now that I think about it. You usually get one layout and that's kind of it. But I get to see way more of Manhattan. Like, in GT4 and the other Forzas, it's really just Times Square. Like, you dip into Times Square and then maybe like a block or two further away. But here you actually get to like drive pretty far out in Manhattan. Gorgeous, man. You even get to see like a bit of a park. It's definitely not Central Park, it's not big enough for that. It's also definitely not here right next to Times Square. But that's great, man. What does that add here? I would love to stop and just read, but I do want to win the race. Is there a replay we can check later? We could try to see if we can read on the replay. That's a good idea. Oh, that's gonna take a while until we get there. View replay. I also need to turn on the fan. It's getting way too hot, so I apologize for the weird white noise on the background, but can we speed this up? I don't think we can. Restart, pause, change camera. So we're kind of stuck with this, unfortunately. View and hide telemetry. Look at all this telemetry. Okay, maybe I can at least point the fan a little bit away. Doesn't hit the mic directly, okay. Yeah, like I said, this is easily the best New York track that I know of. From like Forza and Gran Turismo. That's why I kept saying, like I said this in the beginning, but I think this game is super worth playing today because of the tracks. So many cool tracks that only ever appeared here, and this is just one of them, one of many, honestly. Can't even count them on one hand, the amount of cool tracks that only appeared in this game. Also cool replays. I don't think I ever like sat down and watched a replay in this game. They're pretty well done. Very cinematic. There's something that I think also Horizon desperately needs to update, like the replay camera system is absolute junk. I think they copied it over from like Horizon 1, where it wasn't really very good. Okay, let's see if we can find the ad here. I think it was here, right? Or did I already miss it? Should probably change to a different camera. I think I might have missed it already. I forgot. Yeah, racing games in general, or like replays in general, aren't really like a massive priority anymore for modern racing games, which is a big shame, and I don't really get it either. Because we live in a time of content creation, right? Like content creation is... Wait. Pause. What is that ad? What is that ad? Can I have some? Can I have some? Can I have some? Oh, this is a Mountain Dew ad. This is an ad for Mountain Dew. Okay. I get it. Anything else we can notice? Oh, there's an ad for Project Gotham Racing 2 on the left. Look at that. Wait, that's actually cool. Technically, that's a rivaling rival game, right? It's cool that they still gave them like promotion here. Wait, that's so sick. So I think PGR 2 was also out by the time this came out. That's so fun, actually. There's a McDonald's on the right. Big McDonald's, even. I'm not sure what the other ads are. There's a good chance that some of the ads were like actual, like... Oh, there's an Olive Garden on the left. Nice. And some of the ads were there IRL. Oh man, look at that MSN. I think MSN was even before my time, if I'm being honest. Alright, cool. Cool. You've established a relationship with ACT. Modified clutch and flywheel upgrades for all cars at 10% off. Nice. Totally forgot about that you get discounts the further you get. Beware of understand four-wheel drive cars. I have already felt that. Okay, let's try the Sunset Peninsula race again. And the game has also not crashed in a while now, right? I mean, we haven't really been doing that much racing. We've mainly been in the menus and just kind of dicking around. So that might be a big reason why. But maybe it has kind of like dialed itself in. Maybe it was just a matter of like shader compilation, right? Now that all of the shaders are compiled, or at least for the most part, because we've already been to several places. Maybe it's okay now, I don't know. I'm not sure how exactly this works. Alright, I think we should now be faster than the Mugen here. Look at that. Much better. Not sure what tops we had before. We were definitely still on mass power, so I definitely don't even fully remember. Also, I think the fixed map doesn't really work if the map keeps moving on the screen. I think at that point I'd rather have the rotating one. Also, I'm not sure how strong the slipstream effect is in this game. But I mentioned they probably implemented it pretty well. Considering how much work they put into the rest of the physics, would be weird if they didn't really properly implement the slipstream effect. Alright, there we go. The extra upgrades for the car weren't even that expensive. Like, we just gave it like one engine tuning upgrade. It was maybe like 2k. Made the car much faster. And as far as I can tell, there aren't really any like performance restrictions. You can make these cars as fast as you want to. And that is a really strange looking Integra. Aero gear. It's an interesting color. It's not fully black. It's kind of like iridescent again. Okay, what can we do next? We still have the North America Cup. You do need cars from that specific region for these. We have the Hatchback Cup. We can use the Civic for this again. Yeah, we do have the MR2 still, right? My cars? We did get this one here. We can definitely use this for the MR Cup at the very least. Let's see what we have for upgrades. Do we have any visual? Okay, we can change the window tint. I mean, the car is already tuned, so it makes sense that there isn't really much we can do here. Weight reduction. Okay, the first one doesn't really do much. The second one actually does. I think I'd probably give this better tires, honestly. Given that this one is Probably gonna be very slidey. I hope for speed this is good enough. It's gonna be fine. It's B3, yeah? It should be plenty fast. Thing is, you can look at the opponents of each of the races, I also just noticed. Kinda forgot that was a thing. Opponents. Yeah, the fastest car is an NSX. The fastest car is an NSXR. And it's the same class as us. Okay, well. Let's see how that's gonna go. Okay, here we have the full Maple Valley layout. We only saw like a very short variant so far. Let's see how this holds up. Okay. Launch wasn't bad. Yeah, we can actually keep up quite well. The car is pretty speedy even without upgrades. Not bad, not bad. Okay, I'm just gonna scooch by real quick, thank you. I'm not sure how I feel about the MR cars here. Like, I think for these I'm kind of missing that snap oversteer that MR cars tend to get. Really doesn't feel much different than a regular rear-wheel drive. At least so far, I would say. Through here. Man, the original Maple Valley is still super fun. Like that last section there, with the high-speed corner, is very nice. We're actually much faster than the NSXs. I think on a straight line they are probably faster than us still, but since this car is so much lighter, we can carry way more speed through corners. Which on this track seems to make quite a bit of a difference. Junkie XL knocked it out of the park with the soundtrack. Yeah, I still don't know how to feel about the soundtrack. I'm not really paying attention to it much right now. But I know the soundtrack is like one of the most beloved things about this game from the people who played it back then. I think it's for me, since I have zero nostalgia for it, it just sounds kind of like pretty average like rock music, I would say. In fact, I probably wouldn't even be able to tell this was from Junkie XL, because it sounds nothing like them. And yeah, once again, like I said earlier, you know, it's hard to really compare with the soundtrack that Gran Turismo had at the time. So, you know, it's definitely not bad. It's not a bad soundtrack. I think if we're talking bad soundtracks in Forza Motorsport, I think FM7 is probably the worst offender. It sounds like corporate music from a stock library. So yeah, it's decent, but I think in terms of soundtrack, FM2 still wins the cake. Like, the only bad thing about Motorsport 2 is that there's no music playing in the races, which is a bummer. It's only in the menus. But it has, in my opinion, the best selection. Otherwise, I think FM3 actually had really good music as well. And I think that one did actually play during the races. Also, hey Marcus. Yeah, FM3 soundtrack is really good. The thing is, I didn't really play Motorsport 3 that much. Might be the Motorsport with the lowest amount of playtime actually that I have. Actually, is that even true? I think 6 I might have played even less. But from what I could tell, the music was really good. And that NSX definitely tried to dive bomb me, and he ate shit as a result. Definitely right. But I think by the time they gave up on adding good soundtracks to Forza Motorsport, it was kind of like an early sign, in my opinion, of the series going a little bit downhill. Because it just kind of shows like a lack of care, you know, at least to me. It shows that they don't really try to make these kind of games seem exciting anymore. And then to this day, I'm not even sure if Forza Motorsport 8 had any soundtrack at all. I think it only had like some kind of like weird ambient music in the garage, and that's literally it. Like obviously, a good soundtrack doesn't make a bad game good automatically, but it can make a good game even better, right? It can turn a good game into a great game that you have strong, fond memories of. And that makes it very, very memorable. The fact I can't remember tells me enough, yeah, exactly. And in my book, like, racing games need good soundtracks. I mean, when I say need, I don't mean like they're shit if they don't, right? But it makes any racing game more exciting, right? Like in other genres I can do without good music. Like there it's a bonus, right? Like I don't know, like a shooter without good soundtrack, yeah sure, whatever. If you have something that has good music, like Doom for example, is great. But it's not necessarily it's not a necessity for me, but a racing game without good music is just kinda like, it's just kinda sad, you know? At least I think. Silverstone, we haven't been here either. Not yet, at least. There's extra stats here as well, like track temperature and wind speed, but I'm not sure if that makes any difference. I gotta be honest, I haven't felt any noticeable changes in that. And like, let's say like grip if the track temperature is low, or if there's strong winds that the car is kind of like pulling to one side. That's not something I ever felt in this game. So I don't know if they implemented that even. Let me just scooch by real quick. I might need to be a bit more wary here. Look how hard the NSX is trying to overtake. It's just swerving from side to side, trying to get any opening. I'm just blocking him all the way, that's funny. Nope. Old Silverstone, yeah, true. They did change the layout quite a bunch ever since this game came out. The NSX also attempted an overtake. It's definitely much faster than the others. Although there's other... I think there was another NSX in here. I think the Japanese version is slightly faster, which is what this one is. I think I can keep it behind me. I'm not sure how I would rank the AI here compared to Gran Turismo. I would say it's probably a little bit more interesting, generally speaking. It seems to make more believable mistakes and tries to go for overtakes more, like we saw the dive bump in the previous race. It doesn't seem to just blindly follow the racing line and just hit you if you're just in the way. I'm on medium difficulty right now. Didn't change it for now. The thing is, difficulty matters very little in this game, I feel, when you can just out-upgrade everyone, right? Like, you just add like another upgrade or two, and then it doesn't really matter if you're playing on easy or hard, it's going to be easy, you know? It's kind of the thing. And I feel like in these kinds of games, the difficulty is really just dictated by how much you want to invest into the cars and how much money you want to save. In my opinion, that's also what makes Gran Turismo so interesting, right? Because you want to see how much, how much you can get away with, basically. Like how stock you can keep the cars and how much money you can save by not upgrading. That's, in my opinion, what makes it interesting. So I feel like, you know, difficulty setting here feels a little redundant. Would have made more sense if you had proper limits, right? Since you have car classes in this game, it would have made sense if there's like a car class limit that you cannot overshoot. So like this and that race is only for class C1 tops, let's say. But since you don't have it here, it's kind of pointless, you know. You can just like max out every car if you have the money, and it doesn't matter what difficulty you play on. We got a Stratos. Pretty neat. Yeah, we can also do the Roadster Cup. Let's see if there's like an interesting event here. There's Laguna Seca and RA, or Road America. We haven't been to either of these. I guess we could also do that. Sure, why not? And we haven't had a crash in a while. I think we've been playing for an hour and a half now without a crash. So maybe it really was just the beginning, because all of the shaders and everything still need to compile. And most of the stuff in the game is already loaded in. Might be a little bit more fine, but we'll see. Might have jinxed it. Okay, I'm not even sure how fast these Porsches are gonna be, but I don't think they're gonna be too fast, because that's just basic box test, really. That seems fine. It's a good version of Laguna Seca, I feel like. Might be slightly better than Gran Turismo's iteration, but they've been really excellent as well, honestly. For him. I think modern day Laguna Seca is not sponsored by Mazda anymore, right? Because like back then this was still referred to as the Mazda Raceway, I believe. I think these days someone else owns / sponsors the track, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly, it's WeatherTech. Yes, yes, yes. Ah, dude, I jinxed it. I jinxed it! I said we wouldn't get any more freezes. Unfortunately we did. Oh, that's sad. Especially we were on the second lap already. I'm not sure what to think about the stability. I just say in the beginning of the stream, if this is stable, then I would highly recommend to play this on the emulator instead of the OG console. I feel like right now it's kind of like a pick your poison kind of deal, right? Like either you accept the lower like fidelity you get on I don't want to come out. You get on an original Xbox, right? Because you'll be playing in 480p and 30 FPS, which does, I think, severely hamper your experience with the game. It does make the game feel worse than it really is. Like I was never like a massive fan of the handling in this game. It always felt kind of like a little too delayed. But it really was just the damn frame rate. Like now that we're playing in 60, the game feels much better to play. Like the driving is much better. And it's also mainly got to do with the 30 FPS in on Forza Motorsport 1 just not really feeling good. Like it wasn't really, like the frame pacing was kind of off. There wasn't really enough motion blur to really blend the frames together. Like it wasn't just 30 FPS, it was bad 30 FPS on the original Forza. So upping the frame rate to 60 I think makes a huge difference to how the game feels. However, as we can clearly see, that comes at the cost of stability. So I'm not sure how... It's hard to say so far how unstable this game really is. Because we had the first crash after 30 minutes, then we had another crash like not even 10 minutes later. And then we played like, I think an hour and a half with 0 crashes. So they are very, very inconsistent, right? So at that point I'm not sure what I would recommend. I think if you want to do a full playthrough of this game, I would say do it on the 360. Because especially when you do like the later events, because they're way longer, like you have full-on endurance races at the end of it, you will probably not be able to complete these on an emulator. I would just kind of project that, or it's going to be a pain basically to do that. So if you want to do like a whole playthrough of this, I would recommend doing this on 360 still, or on OG Xbox if you have one. But if you are just interested in trying out the game, if you just kind of want to play this out of curiosity, just to satiate your curiosity basically, if you just want to get like a good feel for what the first Forza was or was supposed to be, if it released it with 60 FPS, then I would say you can do that on an emulator. I would recommend the emulator over the original console. because this is just a vastly superior experience. But I'm not sure if you can really finish the game if it keeps crashing, right? If the stability isn't there. And it's also kind of making me kind of hesitate to do any longer playthroughs of this as well, with challenge runs and whatnot. Did I see a DM? Depends. What did he DM me of? I did get a bunch of DMs recently, but I haven't really replied to anyone yet. Were you the guy that DM'd me for the Midtown Madness PC port? Because I did get a DM about that, but I forgot. I kind of forgot to reply. I saw the message, but yesterday I didn't really feel like replying. I need to play the best racing game of all time, R Racing Evolution. Yeah, we did play that a while ago. I kind of want to play it again, but off stream. Because the game did have, like outside of the story mode, had like its own campaign. And I did want to give that a proper go. If you got both, you could save transfer back and forth. If that's possible, sure. I didn't know that's possible actually, that you can transfer your save from the 360 to the emulator. But sure, if that's possible, then yeah, you can do the earlier events on the emulator, and then when you do the longer stuff, you can do that on the 360. The problem that I see with that is you will very quickly get used to the to the 60 FPS and the higher resolution. And I think once you switch back, you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is ass. Like this is terrible. Like I feel like if you're gonna lock yourself in to play this on a console, you should just do it from the start. I think the moment you play this on 60 FPS, it's gonna be really hard to go back. Didn't want to bother with FM1 since it's very functional. I mean, clearly it isn't. If it keeps crashing on the emulator, then I think having this on as a native PC app, there's still a lot of value in that, honestly. But yeah, I did read your DM, I guess now that you're here. Looks super cool. Do keep in mind, Xbox is doing that themselves right now. They did announce a couple weeks ago that they are planning to bring a lot of their OG Xbox games to PC natively. The thing is, I'm not sure how many racing games they will do with that, because, you know, re-releasing those means reacquiring the licenses and blah blah. Yeah. So I'm not sure how many racing games they plan on like bringing over. So might still be a worthwhile endeavor. It's definitely cool that you're doing this. I think it's super sick anyway, like regardless. But they're not bumping frame rates though, just resolution. I mean, fans can make mods at that point, right? It's just way easier to do 60 FPS mods patches at that point. I need to be careful with the boxes. I don't think they're gonna reach me anymore. Yep. Yeah, it's still emulation in a way. I did read that too. Technically, the games that they bring to PC are still being emulated. They're basically using the emulator they have on their Xbox consoles, right? Because when you put in a 360 game into an Xbox Series console, it's technically still emulating it, or an Xbox One. It's just running an emulator on the Xbox essentially, and they're just bringing that thing over to PC. I mean, ideally, right? Like you would go for decomping a whole thing, like decomping the whole game, but that is obviously like, yeah, have fun with that, man. I mean, I think just having like a standalone application, or just having like you know, the Xbox games not require an emulator, but just being a standalone application is already massive, right? It's already massive because you remove so much that can go wrong. Like an emulator needs to basically be so well optimized. It needs to cover so many bases. It needs to, you know, somehow run every single game mostly flawlessly with as much accuracy as possible. And that's obviously really difficult. So with emulation, you will always have like the one oddball game that has some weird issues, right? Like even Gran Turismo 4 on PCX2 has issues still. Like the replays do not look right in that game. if you emulate it and you use the hardware renderer. Like the blurring effect is completely broken, even today. So I think there's always value if you up for it, if you want to put in the work to make like a standalone application from a game, from a console game. And it's super cool that this is even possible, by the way. Like a couple years ago, that was not. No one would have thought of that, you know. Yeah, Tourist Trophy was awful. I think Tourist Trophy got some improvements though. So if you want to emulate that game on the PC2, it's much better now than it was before. But yeah, you had to like change a bunch of like super advanced settings, and you need to really know what you're doing if you want to play that game. So teraflopping, if you want to. I mean, first of all, super cool that you got MM3 to even run without an emulator. It's super cool. But if you want to give FM1 a shot, I would say it's super worth doing. I think honestly, like, if you want to pick one game that I think is going to attract the most amount of like attention, do PGR2. PGR2 or Project Gotham Racing 2 just at the moment is not getting any improvements on the emulator. That game is just not playable. It's not in a playable state. So if you want to focus on any game, I would recommend that one. Would probably make the most amount of people happy. But do what you want, of course, right? Do it for fun. And for the love of God, never ever charge money for this. Like, holy shit. Not because I don't think you deserve it, but because, you know, it's just painting a target on your back and everyone else that tries to do cool projects like this. Okay, let's try Laguna Seca again. Hope it doesn't crash this time. Hope I didn't jinx it by saying that. By regards to MM3, like Midterm Madness is generally like a series I just have not touched yet. That's the thing. So well, I think it's cool. It's just not something I would check out right now. I would still have to play, or I would still want to play the first Midterm Madness games first. And right now I just don't. They're just not planned for me. Only 3 is worth any attention, really? Like usually I hear that Midterm Madness 3 was just a very different game because it was it was made by different developers altogether. I remember I watched Kuru play Midterm Madness 1 and 2. In fact, I think I might have edited the highlight videos for those games too. I mean, either way, like whether they're worth playing or good or not is really irrelevant to me. You know, like I want to kind of just brush up on my racing game knowledge. So, you know, it's kind of required reading for me in a way, you know. So I'd still play those first, but right now they're just not planned for me. Like there's a bunch of other stuff I want to do at the moment for streams. Sundays I kind of just want to do random stuff, like today for example. So maybe we can just fit that in on a Sunday. But yeah. And Midterm Madness 3 was done by DICE. And the first 2 games were made by, I think, Angel Studios, right? Who would become Rockstar San Diego and work on Midnight Club. Yeah, if I try out Midtown Madness, I'm not even sure if I would do the PC versions, because that seems like a pain in the ass. I'm not sure, did they ever release on consoles? I'd be fine just emulating these, honestly. Like, I really like... I don't have a problem setting stuff up, but yeah, setting up old PC games is like something I never enjoy. Like, I enjoy modding stuff and you know, tweaking things, but setting up old PC games is always a nightmare. It's something I never enjoy doing. It was Windows only, oh damn. I'm guessing there's not like a simple patch that I can just throw in, like a silent patch. Well, we'll see, we'll see. It's kind of like the reason why I haven't planned it yet, because I know it's probably gonna be a pain in the ass to get running. But the reason why I kind of want to also brush up my racing game repertoire and knowledge is because I do want to do a new tier list eventually. Like 5 years ago I did a tier list of ranking every single racing game with an asterisk. It isn't actually every single one. But it was like around like I think 300. I forgot how many entries we had on the tier list, but it was a lot. And back then I really had to... either I ranked games not at all because I didn't know anything about them. Or just ranked them based on what I've seen. Because I've only ever watched the game before. Cool Porsche, by the way, we got here. And I feel like if I do another tier list now, I could rank way more games and we could talk about way more games. Especially because in those 5 years, a lot more games have come out. So I do want to do like a redo of that idea, so to say. Do we have a new sprint race here? We have sections of the Nürburgring here. I didn't know that. The Nürburgring was divided into several sectors for sprint races. Very interesting. Yeah, the Nordschleife here is yeah. It is. It exists. That's probably the best thing I can say about it. There were definitely plenty of games before and after that depicted this track much better. Best thing I can say about it, it's they picked a cool season for this. Like this one's kind of depicted in autumn, which is nice. But yeah, as far as like accuracy goes, yeah, this ain't it, Chief. I mean, look at the size of those curbs. We can put the whole car on there, man. They're also typically way too tall. Like they're like as tall as like the whole tire, honestly, at certain points. And yeah, it's not a great recreation of the Nordschleife. You can tell they definitely did not laser scan it, which is what they did with GT4 actually. Like with GT4 they used laser scanning for Gran Turismo for Gran Turismo 4's Nordschleife. But with this one you can definitely tell this isn't it. Like this downhill is way too much here. And it just doesn't look right. Like all of these corners are just they're all just kinda off. I think this needs to be like a way tighter corner there if I remember it correctly. There's also nowhere near enough trees around. Like, why is this so barren here? Like, so empty. I mean, who knows? Maybe during this time there, when they tried to depict the track, they really were that few trees in that area. But yeah. And we have Flugplatz. Hooray! Actually, that right there is Flugplatz. But the segment already ended. Yeah. It's not the greatest... We got a Mustang. Apart from the level up, actually. Not the greatest representation of the Nordschleife. Doesn't really give it like a super good idea of what the track is like. It just kind of, yeah. It loosely resembles it. Let me put it that way. PGR4 Nürburgring is pure ice. Total wasteland. I don't think I ever played PGR4 enough to remember. I know that on PGR4 you can drive the Nordschleife during the winter while it's snowing. Which that is really, really cool. And sounds like absolute torture, by the way. Look how tall the curbs are. This is ridiculous, man. Like, you're just gonna break the wheels and the suspension if you drive over that in real life. Good lord. Was this YouTube corner? Yeah, I think this was supposed to be YouTube corner, yeah. But the track is still fun. Like, I don't mean to, like, shit on the track too much. Jesus Christ, what the hell? Just a complete gap in the road there. Like, holy. Like, not to dig on this too much. I think it's still like a super fun track. Completely regardless of how well it's like depicting the real life track, but yeah. They definitely did better in subsequent games, that's for sure. I'm not sure, was the Nordschleife even in Motorsport 2? I don't remember. I don't think it was actually. That was... I'm not sure if that was supposed to be the carousel. I think it was earlier. But yeah. It's almost as if they made an unlicensed track inspired by the Nordschleife. Yeah, kind of. Then they got the license last minute and didn't have time to make it more accurate. I think, honestly, it's a little too close to the actual Nordschleife for that. But it's a fun theory. What I will say is that the draw distance is pretty good. Like, you can see the castle all the way over there. That is actually quite good. You can see a lot, very, very far into the distance here. Neom. Still fun. Even if it is like super inaccurate. And we got the other MR2 tuner car for this. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Got this flippy floppies ripped out. That's a crime. I think they did a lot more often back then. Nowadays it's like, if you do that, it's punishable by law. Nordschleife was in Forza 2? I feel like I don't remember that at all. Okay, we also have the professional events unlocked now. Which I'm not sure how different those are. Low power open. Oh, look at that. You do have a shorter variant of New York. Look at that. This is just the what was it? What was it called? Times Square section. I think I'll stick to the beginner events though. We have a Rotary Cup, a Z-Car Challenge. I should honestly do that. As a fellow Z enjoyer. We have 69,000 credits, nice. So let's buy our first car. Because why not? Especially we have 2 Zs in the game. And funny enough, this one's faster. I mean, it's labeled as a track variant. It's also a little bit more expensive, but I'm not sure if the extra pricing is really worth it. I'll still use this because this is the one that they kept reusing in the later Forza games. Like, they dropped this one. And it is slightly different if you look closely in some areas. Remember playing this on OG Xbox? You even had the black and yellow Mad Cat steering wheel? That's very specific. Okay, let's see if this car has... Oh yeah, this one has customization. It does. It do have customization. Not sure if the Fair Lady has more or less parts. Would have been nice to see, honestly. I don't necessarily feel like buying another Z just for that. I think we already saw the extended version of New York. It's really cool. It's really, really sick. What do we have for wings? Man, I wish I could customize my Z like this in the newer Forzas. That wing is absurdly big. It's way too big for this car. This one I've never seen before. This one wing is actually... That's actually a little small, I think. I almost want to say that one of the regular Forza wings are kinda best for this right now. Never thought I'd say that. I'll go with this one. Roll cage? Nah. We don't need that. We can go for better tires. A little bit pricey though. It does increase the size. I may actually go for different rims altogether here. These could work if they were bigger. Interesting. Now it doesn't seem to increase the size anymore. Ah, that's strange. Yeah, rim size is kind of weird in this game, how it works. A little weird. Let's try to get this to A class. We could try to turbocharge it actually. See how that is. Let's get up to A4. Spent a lot of money on this. You can also check the opponents here. Probably just running stock cars. There's even a top 40 ZX in here. Okay. We would have been faster than the whole rest of the opponents either way, even without upgrades. But yeah, that's like exactly what I say, or what I said earlier, right? Like what I like so much about this kind of like campaign structure is that you need to just kind of like balance economy and difficulty yourself. Like, yeah, sure, you can just make every car super fast if you have the money for it, and the race is very easy. The problem is you eventually run out of money. And then you're gonna be kind of shit out of luck. When you eventually need to buy a certain car or whatever, then you're probably gonna have to revisit some races and grind some cash out, or sell something in your garage which you might not necessarily want to sell. It's a nice structure because, you know, you instinctively want to challenge yourself, but you have more funds available to just mess around with. It works so well. I'm not sure why this hasn't really been replicated. I think only... Nah, TXR was different. I wanted to say Tokyo Extreme Racer did it, but it doesn't really work like that in Tokyo Extreme Racer. You can't really make yourself OP because you're just upgrading your car bit by bit. Like part by part, essentially. Yeah, you can also get a higher cash multiplier if you remove assists and stuff. I think that was always a cool idea. It's honestly like one of the few things that they really kept over the years in the Forza series. And it's definitely neat. Especially because it rewards stuff like learning to drive in manual and stuff, which I'm definitely too lazy to do. But hey, the option is there and I will be rewarded if I do, which is cool. This was the first game to introduce the driver task system? Was it? I thought the opponents are just regular AI here. Same with the other games. I mean, I remember they made a big stink out of that for Motorsport 5. Like, oh, all the opponents are your friends. I mean, they're definitely called driver tars here. That I definitely know. Because you do have something like a bespoke mode in this as well. Where you can, as the game says it, train your driver tar. But just because it's named Drivatars doesn't necessarily mean they are Drivatars, if that makes sense. Or at least by like the modern definition of it. I think what was defined as a Drivatar here is basically your own B-spec driver that can do races for you. Whereas I think with Motorsport 5, the definition of a Drivatar kind of changed. Where now the opponents aren't just random AI drivers, they are your friends. And they are supposed to take up your friend's driving style, which never worked, by the way. Like, all the Drivatars system did in the modern games is that if you have someone in your friends list who's good at the game, their Drivatar will be overpowered. And always faster than the rest. If one of your friends list is really fast in races and time trials and whatnot, in your game, their Drivatar will be outpacing everybody. And it will make the entire difficulty extremely unbalanced. It's why, like, in modern Forza, you usually have like 1 or 2 Drivatars just way faster and way further ahead than everyone else. Like, that kind of like Drivatar system has really become way more of a detriment. Like, at that point, just give me like regular AI opponents that are all just balanced the same way, so I can have a normal race, you know. Jokes on you, game, I don't have any friends. Well, jokes on you, if you don't have any friends, in Horizon 6, they use random content creators and people that worked with the developers, testers and whatnot. So you're still gonna run into the same issue. Whether you like it or not. Shoutouts to my man Bowie Knife 99, by the way. Sunset Peninsula infield. We haven't seen this one yet either. That's like maybe the only reason, or one of the few reasons I would maybe check out the new Forza Motorsport, to see how they adapted this track in one of the updates. It's definitely a cool pick. Like, obviously, if you're gonna bring back one track, obviously it should be Fujimi Kaido, and I'm definitely glad that they did. This is definitely interesting for a second pick. If you're gonna bring back any track from previous Forza game, that you pick this one. But like I said earlier, I think Forza Motorsport 8 just didn't have like any traditional oval tracks. Like, they didn't have Daytona or Indianapolis. I mean, actually, maybe they had Indianapolis, I'm not sure. They might have had that one, actually. It's an interesting pick out of tracks to bring back. I would have probably not brought this one back, but I would have probably taken any of the other ones they had in this game here. I think seeing Shibuya again would have been nice. I mean, it would have been like another, like, Japanese track, like, you know, people would have probably been like, another track Japan. But that would have been sick. But I think it would have also been way more work. Because with Fujimi Kaido, you can just kind of do whatever, you know. I think especially Forza Motorsport 8's iteration of Fujimi Kaido was very different than what we had before. To a point where it's hardly even the same track. It's really more of a track inspired by the original Fujimi Kaido that kind of carries the torch. But if you adapt, like, I don't know, like Shibuya in this game, and, you know, it's following like actual IRL roads, so you need to kind of figure that out, and you need to make sure that the buildings match and everything is way more work than just doing like a fictional Toge track, even if it is way longer. So yeah. But they would have had other cool stuff to pick from, like you have the bootleg Bathurst here, which I think would have been cool. Or the bootleg Spa that they had, which also would have been cool. But I guess since I'm actually not sure if they had Bathurst in Motorsport, but I'm pretty sure they had Spa. Doesn't really make much sense to take the what was supposed to be a replacement for Spa in this game, and then just add that to the game. That doesn't really make much sense. You normally hear that Forza Motorsport 4 is damn good, or makes it good. A lot of things. So first of all, for an Xbox 360 game, it feels extremely next-gen. Like, it really feels like it could have been on the Xbox One. So for its time, it was technically really, really advanced. You had one of the more interesting car lists. You had a lot of like basic commuter and economy cars in that game, and that's actually what you start with in the campaign as well. You have the whole implementation of Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson narrating a bunch of stuff, which was great. Forza Vista looked insane for its time, like absolutely insane. That could, honestly, like some of the Forza Vista stuff could have just been from a modern game like you get today. That's how good it looks. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, it just had a lot of content, man. You have like an absolute shit ton of championships in that game. Like, it's insane. You can play that game for an ungodly amount of time and see so much. Like, that game never ends. I don't ever got even remotely close to beating that game. Like, in terms of just raw single-player content, I think there's no other Forza Motorsport that offers more than FM4. It is very, very similar to Gran Turismo 4 in that regard, where it just gives you, like, this massive, massive, massive list of events to tackle. Where there's always just one more thing. Where, like, you'll probably have to, like, pause and come back to the game every couple months and do, like, frequent breaks if you don't want to, like, completely burn out on it. Like, you just got, like, a lot of bang for your buck back in the day with FM4. It's just really the thing. It was well worth the full price. If we're just talking, like, fidelity of the content and how much there was. So if you haven't played it, I would highly recommend you to do so. Holds up really, really well, I think. You were working on recoms for the later Forza games too? That's actually great. That is actually great. Yeah, I saw some people are working on a recomp for Midnight Club LA, which is also super exciting. Because emulators also can't really handle that game properly. I think Xenia Edge came close. Or came the closest. But yeah, you're still dealing with like a lot of issues there. Also, I think there's the... yeah, there it is. The gate. I actually forgot what it's called in real life. I only know the name from Yakuza, which is a little bit sad. Kabukicho, right, the Kabukicho gate. Yes, yes, yes. I've been around here actually. I think it might have been in this particular alleyway here even. When I went to Japan. Like, I did go to Kabukicho one day. Late at night, which was really fun. And then explored some of the surrounding areas. There's a massive shopping mall nearby here actually. That's not in Kabukicho, but kind of like next to it. That one is really, really narrow. If you have a really wide car with bad handling, it's really easy to hit one of the edges there and completely trash the car. That's a fun track, man. Like the city tracks they had here are genuinely excellent. There's actually one track we still haven't seen yet. I'm not sure where it's gonna show up. Might have to kind of like dig around a little bit. But there's one more really cool city track in this game that I remember. I mean, worst case we can just go into the arcade mode and do the time trials to just check out all of the tracks. Oh, that turn is devious. Just a straight hairpin after a long straight. If you're not prepared for that turn, it's definitely gonna get you. Dude, I gotta be honest, I don't think I ever tried to pit in this game. I almost went in by complete accident. Hey Andy. Okay, I don't want to skip the race on Silverstone. We will get a new prize car here, but I kind of want to just dig a little bit for new events. Or new tracks that we haven't seen yet. One thing that's kind of cool, yeah, this is the track I was talking about earlier. Rio de Janeiro. We haven't seen that one yet. It's really nice, actually. It's a nice quality of life improvement. If you try to enter a race with the wrong car, that's not allowed. But you have a car in your garage that's allowed, it'll just immediately take you there. Something I really wish Gran Turismo did. Is it bad to say if you never played the original Forza Motorsport on original Xbox before? Yes, that is a crime against mankind. Please write an email to Microsoft apologizing to them. Nah, I'm kidding. Not at all. I mean, if anything, you now have like honestly like much better options to revisit it, right? I think now is like the best time to play this game for the first time, I think. With the emulator. Whoa. Now that it's playable in 60 FPS and high resolution. Stability seems to be a bit of an issue still. It's like, I find it hard to talk about the stability. I gotta be honest. Like, we had 3 crashes, right? Or maybe it was 4. The last one was quite a while ago again. It's like the only thing that kind of makes me hesitant to recommend it. At least for like a full playthrough. Like as I said earlier, like if you want to do like a full playthrough, you want to do everything in this game, do it on an original console. But if you're curious to just kind of see what this game was and you just kind of want to play it like once or twice, then yeah, emulation is great now. Like 60 FPS is fantastic, does so much for this game in my opinion. And looks phenomenal. So I'd say if you have not played this game yet, now is honestly like the best time. Let's race on. So this is supposed to be in Rio de Janeiro. Brazil mentioned. Everyone please freak the fuck out. This would have been a cool track to bring back in the new Forza Motorsport. I think most people would not have remembered this one. A lot of people probably would have assumed this would have been just like an original new track that they added. Only the knowers, only the OGs would know. Now, this one's great. This is another great track. Like honestly, I gotta say, every single one of the original tracks they added, so you know, none of the like real world tracks, Every single one of the original tracks is a banger here. I don't think there's like a single track where I'm like, man, this is ass. Which, like, that's not, like, I'll be honest, that's not something I can say about Gran Turismo. Some of the original Gran Turismo tracks really piss me the fuck off. I hate Ice Arena with every fiber of my being. Hong Kong is not fun to drive. It's very pretty, but it's not fun to drive. But here I think all of the tracks are really fun. I don't mind a single one of them. Which, you know, that's saying something. Thanks to me, you've discovered so many racing games and had the chance to play them in emulation. I'm glad to hear that, man. Yeah, that's always nice to hear. If I can get people to try out new games that they haven't played before and they happen to enjoy them. Makes me very happy. That I can kind of share my passion with others. And yeah, in regards to, once again, emulating this game, on emulator this game definitely ages much more gracefully. Like on an original Xbox, it's quite rough. You can watch my first playthrough of this on my channel. We did do a video on this game where I basically did a video on every Forza Motorsport game at one point. And there you can kind of see how this game looks and runs. And it's not great. It's unfortunately not great. The frame rate is just 30. It's a very unsmooth 30 as well. Doesn't look the greatest either. Like, you know, emulation and the 60 FPS patch, they really help a lot to make this game age a lot more gracefully, I would say. So this would be my, like, recommendation if you were gonna play this for the first time and you don't intend to, like, fully beat it all the way, just to kind of like check it out and just kind of like dabble a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna check the arcade mode to see if there's any tracks we have not seen yet. Actually, not arcade mode. Let me do time trial, because arcade mode you have to unlock stuff. So we've seen these. I think we might have seen everything. I guess we haven't seen the test track, but looking at the layout, I'm not sure if I want to. Okay, so here we drive a Mugen S2000. Here we actually drive the weird Seat we saw earlier in the car list. So we could give it a try. Yeah, ignore what I said earlier. I think this is one of the original tracks that's not a banger. This might be the only track that's not a banger. And what a weird car this is, man. Jesus. This car can't decide if it wants to understeer or oversteer. It's kind of like flip-flopping between the two. Like it's just understeering, although I'm not even giving it gas. Like this is understeering, just steering. Like I'm giving it zero gas there. And then I give gas and it's oversteering. This car sucks. Seat, what were they thinking? What did Seat mean with this? Where do they get their ideas? I can see why this car didn't really take off. dude, this section with this car is impossible. Like, it understeers just steering. Like, look at this. Oh, that was so loud. That was so fucking loud. Thunder, thank you so much for the 32 months. Holy shit. Yeah, it really does. It really does. And they built a lot of shit here, I just want to point that out. Like, they built more from the ground up than they ever did anywhere else. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with this car? It's probably easy to say or to ask what isn't wrong with this car. I guess this track is Forza's version of complex string, in a way. I think his complex string at least made somewhat sense. Because you have like separate sections. This is just spaghetti. Like you look at the track, and it's just spaghetti. Like, it makes no sense. It's just a bunch of like weird corners that never appear anywhere. Or like weird, just really weird sections that don't really test anything in particular. It's like they looked at Gran Turismo's complex string and were like, yeah, we can make a worse track than that. Alright. What a weird car. Well, I am very much looking forward to never doing that again. Actually, I think I know how they came up with this track and how they made it. They were probably in the studio, being like, "Hey, we need another track. We need another track. Who's gonna design it? Yeah, let's give it to the guy that's currently suffering from like an epileptic episode. Hand him a piece of paper and a pen." And then there was like, and that was the track. It looks exactly the same. Looks exactly the same. It shows up far too much during the middle of the game's career mode. I don't think I ever got that far. I know they have a test track as well in Motorsport 2. I think it was a slightly different one than this, but I'm not sure anymore. It might have also been the same one. And then they just put it all over the beginner events. Like, it's just that. And only once you actually leave the beginner events, that's when you actually get to, like, see something else. Okay, what's a car I haven't tried yet? I really enjoyed the Z, honestly. We haven't tried an all-wheel drive car, which I guess this would be. We also got this. Oh, I tried the old Porsche. I should probably try... Wait, this is front-wheel drive? This is front-wheel drive. Wait, no, am I cooked? Oh, no, never mind. I misread the logo. No, it's rear-wheel drive for sure. In fact, it's MR. We did already drive an MR car. I found, like, as I said earlier, like, the MR cars don't really feel that different from regular rear-wheel drives. But we could try to drive an old car just to see what it's like. But I also want to try an all-wheel drive car. We haven't done that yet either. Anything we can do here? Not really. We could participate in the Europe Cup here. Or in the low power open. The thing is, opponents... Actually, we should be able to beat them. We are faster. We are faster with this old ass Porsche. Which is very interesting. Because I don't think it was that fast. Oh god, the camera is so low. Dude, I feel so small. I feel so tiny here. What the hell? Look how massive the look how massive the Golf and the fucking TT feels massive, man. The tiny ass TT feels super huge. What the fuck? Look at this comparison, man. What is this? Oh my god. Oh god, okay. Focus up. Yeah, it feels like I'm driving a go-kart. Jesus Christ. It has to be the camera height, right? Okay, honestly, for such an old car that we're running completely stock with no traction control whatsoever, this feels very stable. Yeah, that's one thing I would give the I would probably give Gran Turismo 4 over this. Like, I think this game does a better job of simulating understeer and oversteer better, but it doesn't do a good job of representing the cars, in my opinion. Like, GT4 did an incredible job making sure that old cars feel old, MR cars feel like MR cars, front-wheel drive cars feel like front-wheel drive cars, you know? And upgrades feel very substantial. Like, if you actually change the suspension and the tires and the weight, like, it has a massive effect on the handling. That's why I think, like, GT4 does a better job. Like, making sure that the cars feel distinct and like they're supposed to. Like, this honestly, if I didn't know this was an old car, I would have said this could have felt like anything. It really, honestly, doesn't really feel that much different from the MR2 I was driving earlier, which was tuned. So, you know, I don't think I'm gonna win this though because of the mistake in the beginning. Unless... Ooh, we're on the outside. Nice. Now, man, I got it. But the cars don't feel like super authentic here, I would say. Like, this car should be sliding all over the place. Like, this car has zero aerodynamics, zero downforce, and given that we didn't upgrade, it should have old tires too. But, yeah. This vehicle is just very lightweight. That's true, but I think that should only make it worse. Should be kind of feeling like a soapbox, I feel like. It's extremely light. Yeah, but I don't think it would be this planted. It just feels very, very planted. Like, I'd imagine if I tried this car in the sim, I would probably be counter-steering way more and making way more fine adjustments to the steering, which I don't really need to do here. Yeah, I didn't, honestly, I didn't encounter Fujimi Kaido yet. It wasn't in the time trials, was it? Like, if it is anywhere, it's somewhere in the point-to-point races. Like in that section. I'm not sure if there's an easy way we can get there right now. But yeah, definitely like to also revisit Fujimi Kaido. That way I think we have been on all tracks. We've covered all the tracks in the game this stream. If I get to it. Alright. Yeah, there's a Porsche 550 Spider. Exactly. So let's see, I'm not sure if I can see where I could find Fujimi Kaido. Because we do have access to some point-to-point races, like here, the Overdrive Cup. Oh, yeah, there you have it. There you have it. The thing is, I'm not sure if I can do this with the car on stock. Like, it's D4, it's like literally the lowest possible car class. So I would try to improve the Impreza at least a little bit. It's not even WX, like it's actually like super standard. Doesn't have any customization, that's a shame. I can give it like a different color for the windows, I didn't know you could do that. Okay. Then let's make sure it's a little bit more up to snuff here. I think it's probably just gonna need more power. Just a really underpowered. Yeah, look at that. Just add a turbo, GG. Oh, you can do an engine swap on this. What do we have? Okay, we can put the 22B engine in here. WX STI. I'm not sure from which one though. WX STI Spec C. Okay, I know which one that is. Immediately catapults it to A2. Just 18k. It's not a lot. Should we do like a crazy engine swap? Like honestly, there's a lot of bang for your buck here. A2 and just 8 with 18k. Fuck it, let's do it. That should make this the fastest car we have right now by far. Now the body mods don't get unlocked. Like you have access to the body mods. It's just that this car doesn't have any. Alright, let's see how we can deal with this track on so much speed. I'm gonna give it like a really tiny weight reduction and slightly better tires. But it's all-wheel drive, so I think we're gonna be fine. But here you go, Fujimi Kaido. In its absolute first iteration. And honestly, it's just as fun here as it was, as it ever was. It looks very different. Like it's nowhere near as dense as it usually is. And it feels very warm. Right? Like very warm colors are used here. But yeah, it's still fun. Still somewhat challenging too. It's nice that we're doing the downhill here right now. But many people really mainly remember Fujimi Kaido, and I think also generally like connect Fujimi Kaido with its depiction in Motorsport 4. To the point where I think many people think that's where it came from. I think most people really think Fujimi Kaido originated in 4. It was kind of like one of the main tracks in that game for a lot of people, but as you can see, it was also in the first one. And once again, like I think a really cool track here, genuinely. Like compared to all of the other tracks we had, this is a genuinely fun tollgate track. Really cool. But very different. Very different Spinalla than the track as we have come to know it mostly. But it's the same rough beats, you know. I think the layout here is also completely different. So if you really think about it, there's 3 iterations, I think, of Fujimi Kaido. So you have this iteration from the first Forza. The classic version, if you will, the classic iteration. Then you have the, I guess, HD era iteration from Motorsport 4 and I think also 3. Not sure what it was like in 2. Might have been the same in 2, honestly. And then you have the modern iteration that they have in the new Forza Motorsport, Motorsport 8, which I think once again was also very different. It was definitely a lot closer to the one that you had in Motorsport 4. Whereas like the one in Motorsport 4 was very different to this one. Like they basically completely redesigned it in a way. But yeah. Also, I think this one doesn't even loop back into itself. This Fujimi Kaido iteration. Like, this is strictly a point-to-point race. It doesn't loop back in on itself like the one in 4. Which also makes this one very different. Which that was basically... that honestly was a good idea. Making Fujimi Kaido loop in on itself. Probably made for a lot of like really fun online races. And free roam stuff, track days, etc. Yeah, we did Shipyards earlier. I gotta say, Shipyards is amazing. In a way, I maybe even prefer Shipyards over this still. Because of just how insanely unique it is. And how fun it is to drive. Once again, like, it just feels like a street race ripped straight out of Juiced. But yeah, every single time I return to Forza Motorsport 1, it just makes me really baffled how much they managed to do here on the first attempt. Like, this is the first game of that studio. Which, to be fair, I think Turn 10 at the time was already kind of made up of a bunch of other former developers on other games and under other studios, so it wasn't like a bunch of like inexperienced people making their first racing game, right? But man, for like a first entry in a series, I cannot really come up with any game that leaves a stronger impression than Forza Motorsport 1. Like, the amount of shit they managed to cram in here is absolutely insane. Like, this is the kind of game I would expect out of a sequel or a threequel, right? Like, this is the kind of game you would maybe see if this is like the third or fourth game in the series. But it's the first one. Like, and they had so much here. Like, so many massive tracks that are all good. Really damn good customization that still humiliates every other Forza that came after it. Intricate damage model that still mocks everything that came after it in the series. Online play was here. For the time, decent graphics. Like, damn, man. Decent physics, handling-wise. All that on the first attempt is absolutely crazy. Like, even Gran Turismo, for how influential that game was and for how many things that game did for the first time that, you know, really reinvented the wheel in a lot of ways. Not even that game was as ambitious and crazy in scope as this. You know, and I mean, fair enough, it was a PlayStation 1 game that had more limitations to work with, but holy shit, dude. Alright, and we get the Celica. Yeah, this is the car I put on the thumbnail of my first video on this game. That's probably where I got it from. Okay, we also have this here. We can we can enter this again. This is a hill climb now. But gonna skip out on this for now, I guess. See if we can do other stuff in here. We also have an Impreza vs Lancer race here. But yeah, I do think we have kind of seen all of the tracks at this point. Maybe not every single iteration, if you will. But let me check. And the arcade mode is also its very own progression system, because you have to kind of unlock all of the tracks here. It's, once again, it also works very similar to Gran Turismo 3, where the arcade mode was also kind of like its own mini career, if you will. Let me check the time trials, because there might be some cars here that I would really still like to drive. Yeah, we can drive the M3 GTR here, for example. Not sure if I kept the assists on there, but whatever. You think the tires can pop if you do a burnout long enough and brakes glow from fast enough cars? Really? Let's put that to the test. So this is now Forza Mythbusters. Okay. So let's check the brakes here. Ah, not on this car, not on this car. Not on this car. But with the burnouts, I'm not sure. And you can definitely kind of do them here. Which, yeah, good luck trying to do a burnout on Gran Turismo. The thing is, oh, never mind, you were right. Look at that. The brake discs do glow. Holy shit, I don't think I ever noticed that. The thing is, I turned off damage. Let me enable simulation damage. I'm not sure, does it even count here? I'm gonna go back to career mode for this. So damage, simulation. You used to put your car against the wall. Yeah, I guess that also works. Let me try this in... I guess we can go back to the Z race. And try it here. Can't think of another game at the top of your head that uses the 2003 spec M3 GTR. Yeah, usually it's the 2001. Yep. They have like both numbers as well. You really have to do the burnouts like in real life. You have to just be very precise with the... There was a way to display the tires. Yeah, look at that. Tire temperature. You have to be really precise with the brakes. You see, if you're too hard on them, they will stop spinning. You have to almost press them through, but not fully. But the tires are cooking, as you can see. They're completely red. I'm not sure if they can explode. That would actually surprise me, because I don't think that was possible in any of the other Forza games. Genuinely, like, honestly, like, the only racing game I can think of where you can pop your tires is, some of the Need for Speeds. Like, I know you can do that in, actually, was it Most Wanted 2012? No, actually, I'm thinking about GTA 5. I know in GTA 5, if you do a burnout for long enough, the tires will pop. Not sure if I can think of any racing game where you can do that. I think it was Most Wanted 2012, right? But if you do a burnout long enough, the tires pop. Could also do it in Shift. It's kind of weird if you think about it, that you couldn't ever do this in like Gran Turismo or Forza. I'm not sure if it's working here. I mean, you said I should put the car against the wall, so let me do that. I have simulation damage on, so it should work. But I don't know, I would bust that myth. Unless it just takes a really long time. But the brake discs do glow. I did not know that there's a thing here. That was a cool find. They're probably gonna crash into me now. Grid as well? I guess, yeah. I guess, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if the tires can actually really pop. Maybe need some more power. I mean, this car is pretty fast. We did upgrade this one pretty hard. But now we get engine damage. I mean, feel free to try it out. Feel free to try it out yourself. Maybe you can get it to work. But yeah, I couldn't really make it happen. And we did do like a really long burnout there at the end. Yeah, I wanted to check the time trials to see if there's like any cars that I wanted to try. I did start the race with the M3, right? Do I still want to do that? Give me 412. I guess it would be fun to try one of the LMP cars. I'm not even sure what that is. EPP. GTC NSX minus. TS020, what is that? Let's find out. Fish. Colon 3, that is a great first message. Oh, it's a GT1. Interesting. Looks slightly different than the one that I remember. Oh god, oh god, oh god, okay. Very, very interesting combination here, this car with the Brazilian street track. Yeah, sense of speed can actually be pretty nice here as well. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't even do anything fancy. Like, we have like no camera shake here. I think the FOV is also not like super high. So it's actually quite nice. I think the sense of speed also just kind of feels better now because of the 60 FPS patch. I think without it doesn't feel as fast, I can imagine. That definitely contributes quite a lot. By 250 already feels really quick. Which is quite nice. Oh, this is following real streets. I mean, I guess it, yeah, I guess it makes sense. Why wouldn't it? All of the other tracks that are named after real cities follow real roads. So it makes no sense that this one doesn't. That's actually cool. I don't know if any other game has ever like depicted real real roads from like Brazil. That's actually quite cool. We've done that. Let's do one lap on the Nordschleife with the F1. I think then I might also call it. It might be the last thing I'll do today because it's almost 8 PM here. I feel like at this point we've kind of seen it all. Now we can get like a full view of the cursed Nordschleife. The start and finish line is even wrong. Like, why is the start and finish line on the Dottinger Straight? And not where it's supposed to be. Like, the pit lane is even here. Like, how are they gonna handle the pits if the start finish line is not here? Just to add to things that are super cursed about this track. But yeah, final verdict on stability on this game. It actually doesn't seem that bad. There's a good chance I just got quite unlucky on some parts. But you could also flip it around and say that I just got really lucky today and I managed to like play uninterrupted for like over an hour in some parts. First stream ever, welcome in. I would cautiously recommend this, or to play on emulator now. This gets a cautious recommendation from me. Like I said, I think if you want to do a full playthrough, like 100%, you want to see everything this game has, I would recommend still do this on an original Xbox or an Xbox 360 just to be safe. But if you were curious about this game for a while and you just want to try it out and you want to play it in the best way possible and you don't care about doing everything, and then I would say now is a good time to jump in. This game definitely looks and feels much better than it ever has, so if you've never played it before, now is literally the time. The best time to play it, I think. And yeah, it's super fun. Like, I'm always super surprised how well the game does hold up and how good of a game it just is, considering it's the first in the series. And you really rarely ever see this talked about at all. Like, when people talk about old Forza, they talk about Motorsport 4, maybe like Horizon 1 obviously comes up in discussions a lot. Maybe rarely you see people bring up Motorsport 3, but that's really about it. Like, Motorsport 1 is like easily the most overlooked game in the whole series, which makes sense. It was never released outside of the original Xbox. But it is still great. I would still say this beats most Forza games in the series. I would, like I said earlier, put this confidently in like 3rd place of the whole series. Excluding Horizon, just Motorsport for now. So yeah, definitely give this a try if you haven't. Gets my wholehearted recommendation. So many cool tracks that you'll only ever see here. This is not one of them here right now. But cool cars, great car list, fun progression. Really good customization. Best the series has ever gotten. So yeah, play it. See a walking toaster? Was always your favorite Forza, right? I mean, to some degree, I would say probably nostalgia. But I mean, this game does do a lot of things better than all of the other ones, right? Like, this game has the best damage model, has the best customization. Arguably the best track list. Really depends what your preferences are, if you like fictional tracks more than real tracks. And how much like the raw track count matters to you. So in all those regards, I think this game is still king. Oh god. Yeah, you can actually feel the snap oversteer a little bit on this car here. You can slightly feel it here. These comically large curbs are kind of setting me though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what is this here? Look at that, dude. We're driving on 2 wheels. If we touch those. Okay. How did they manage the carousel? You know what, the carousel is actually fine. It's not the worst thing. Maybe a little bit wide, but it's okay. I would say the carousel gets a pass from me. It's not that bad. They didn't completely butcher that one. I expected way worse here, given given all the rest here. Curbs like most of GT3. Yeah, Gran Turismo 3 also had pretty massive curbs. But honestly, Gran Turismo 1 and 2 were way worse with that. In Gran Turismo 1 and 2, it feels like you're driving like a car that's way too small. You can fit the whole car on the curbs in those games. It's actually crazy. I think GT3 did a lot to fix that, actually. But speaking of which, I'm currently on a journey to do 100% in Gran Turismo 3, because I never did it before. It was my first Gran Turismo play the first time 20 years ago, but I never actually bothered to get 100%, and I decided to just kind of go for it off stream. And it's been pretty fun, but I got to the exhausting part of the playthrough, which is the professional races and the endurance stuff, which I've also mostly completed at this point. I actually did do all of the professional races you can do with the International A license. So I only have the S license races left in there, which is I think the Dream Car Championship, the Polyphony Cup, like the Wind, and I think the Formula GT stuff, like the Formula GT race. So I've done most of it already. And as far as endurance races go, I think I'm only missing 4 of them. And one of them was very, very short. So I'm pretty close to beating it, which is quite exciting. Not something I think I will ever do again, because it really is very tiresome. And if you're wondering why I didn't stream it, it's because of that. I couldn't just sit down and play that. Like, I need something on the side, like some stream or video or whatever, just something. It's just something I can only do on the side. But yeah, it's been fun. Been a fun time. Alright, there we go. Full lap on the quote-unquote Nordschleife. The Imposter Schleife, as you could maybe even call it here. Oh, what a fun game, dude. What a fun game. Yeah, once again, I'm not sure about the stability. I think it's still like a little bit too unstable for me to do like any challenge runs in this or any longer playthroughs. I think I would like to just wait for like more optimizations on the emulator. But you do get like my blessings to play this on the emulator. I would very much recommend. Do try to use the 60 FPS patch. It does really make a massive difference for how this game feels. So yeah, I think I will leave you with that. Let's see. We could raid Kuro again, actually. What's he doing? Undercover Director's Cut mod. I don't actually know that mod at all. So I think I'm just gonna send you over there. When can you get most racing game emulators? Racing game emulators? There are no like dedicated racing game emulators. You just have like emulators for like this and that system. Just Google it. Just Google it. I think there's like one site that has all of them listed that you will probably find if you just look for it. But yeah. Is that the only thing I did? Just a 60 FPS patch? I mean, I did also increase the internal resolution. I'm not sure, what did I even set it to? Yeah, we're on 4x resolution, which should be 1440p. Vulkan renderer. Honestly, it might have been more stable if I set this to OpenGL now that I think about it, but whatever. It's too late for that anyways. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Much appreciated. This was a lot of fun. Love this game. Super good. And I would say now that I played on 60, like before I would have given the game like an 8 out of 10. Because like the biggest bummer really was just performance and everything. But with this, on emulator, I would easily give this like a 9 out of 10. Like this is like a really damn good game and a great alternative, I think, to like Gran Turismo. That I think all of you should really try out if you haven't played this yet. So yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. Much appreciated. I'm not sure when the next stream is going to be. I need to like kind of catch up on like YouTube stuff. I still have so many VODs that are clogging up my SSD that I need to kind of get rid of before I do more streams. So we'll see. But until then, take care, take it easy, and as always, peace. See you guys.